Welcome to Season 2, Week 5, Community Clash League by Heroes Hearth. My name is NotParadox. I'll be hosting this awesome event here with me, the mad scientist who has a sentient dog. This dog, which became the most renowned outlaw in the world. Bandit? But actually here with me, the mad scientist who built a universe to power his car battery. Wait a second, that's not quite right. That's someone else. The most positive caster in HOTS, Bahamut. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction. I mean, yeah, no, I'm not a scientist at all. I'm not that smart. But either way, no, I'm ready. We're here. We got a best of 5 series for all of you. But first things first, we got to tell you how we got to this best of 5 series so we can show you what the playoff bracket has looked like, because we are in week number 5 of CCL. Last week, we had 2 best of 3s. We had Not Safe for Work from Home going up against Big Ding Energy. That was a best of 3. Big Ding Energy was knocked into our losers bracket, our semifinals. Not Safe for Work from Home. They're going to be in that Grand Finals next week. That is a best of 7 series, unweighted, so no +1 shenanigans. No. You got to play 4 games if you want to win this one. We also had Lil Rubies go up against Pentanoms. That was a tournament life matchup. Pentanoms was knocked out by Lil Rubies, so Pentanoms is out of this tournament. They take their winnings and they're going to be going home. They're going to be watching and praying for season 3 of CCL. But now, since Lil Rubies progressed on, we have a best of 5 series. This is another tournament life matchup here where we have Big Ding Energy going up against Lil Rubies to vie for that spot in that best of 7 grand finals next Wednesday. But the first thing we got to figure out here is, well, who's going to win this one? And also, if you get knocked out, Paradox, what kind of money do you make?
See, that's a thing. So the team that gets knocked out here is still going to be getting 3rd place. And if you guys are unfamiliar about our prize pool, first place will get $500 plus 40% of community prize pool. Second place will get 430%. Third place, which will be determined right here, will get 320% of the community prize pool. And fourth place is Pentanoms. They get $200 and 10%. And Bah, what is this percentages of the community prize pool? What does that even mean? What am I talking about here?
Well, last week, after 4 weeks, we raised just shy of $2,500. So they're going to be getting a chunk of that money. 60% of that's going to be pulled out for these players on top of the money that they're already making. So this is just a great way for these players to earn a little extra cash on top of what they're playing for. Maybe get a new router. Maybe Aullora can buy more heroes in the game. We're not sure. We got a lot of options here, but it's not just the people. It's not just the community. It's not just the base prize pool, Paradox. How else is this event being supported?
Well, we actually have an awesome sponsor this time. Our sponsor is Juked.gg, and Juked.gg is an awesome website. It's got a collection of all of your favorite esports. You can follow different games, teams, players. Check out point of view streams for all of your favorite players, including in this very event. Check them out at Juked.gg. It's a really cool website. I've been watching it for some hot stuff and Magic Gathering, and it's pretty neat. I really like it. But overall, I mean, I think we're getting pretty close to getting these games going, right? What map are we starting on? Do you know yet?
We are going to be starting over on Infernal Shrines. It's a very, very strong map for teams that like to rotate quite often. You're going to be having bottom to mid rotations. You can be having that solo lane matchup. But right now, things are ready to go. We're going to get into this game. We have Lil Rubies on the left-hand side, and we're going to have Big Ding Energy on the right. Let's go ahead and get into map number 1, Infernal Shrines, as we said. But as always, one thing that I want to let you all know is how we got to Infernal Shrines, because there were a couple map bans that did happen. The coin flip was initially won by the members of Big Ding Energy, and they opted for first pick priority for game number 1. The members of Lil Rubies then banned out Sky Temple and Hanamura. Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen were banned out by the members of Big Ding Energy. So Infernal Shrines will be our first map chosen by the members of Lil Rubies, giving first pick priority over to Big Ding Energy. Now, as I said, we're on a rotation heavy base map. We're going to be having a strong solo lane matchup. What's the thing that you prioritize between these two teams? I know we have, okay, a DC. Apparently there's going to be that. So we'll figure out all that in a second. I might have broke something.
It wouldn't have been a HOTS event without some 3-2-3. Am I right? Am I right, chat? We need some 3-2-3 in here. I mean, this isn't a usual 3-2-3, but I'll take it. So yeah, I mean, Infernal Shrines, what do we prioritize? I think the first thing that I'm always looking for, I mean, number one is both of these teams have some major players that dominate on very small roster pools. So I think naturally the first thing we're going to see is some bans. Bans to most likely target bans. Like, we're going to need to get rid of that Urau. because we've got Liam on one side, dominates on Urel, 100% win rate with Urel in CCL. As well as an 87% win rate as number one GM in North America. Like, yeah, you got to get rid of it. It's got to go. So Urel, hands down, is going to be a ban, or it's going to be a first pick. Other than that, though, I mean, we still have a lot of those little target bans. We've got the potential. I mean, Tracer ban, Ragnaros ban is very common against Big Ding Energy. You could also get rid of Malthael or Sonya. I mean, Liam's Sonya on this map is also very good. So those are all things that I would expect out of bans. But as far as first picks, I mean, we still have a very small tank pool. So I would recommend keeping that pool even lower by grabbing those things as soon as possible so that you can remove that pool from the opposing team. So grabbing out the Joanna, the ETC, Garrosh's, stuff like that early so the opposing team can't get it would be really, really valuable for these teams.
So they get rid of Liam's Urel. Ragnaros is going to be banned out as well. You know what's really funny? I was watching the Wednesday show for Heroes Hearth, and Coffee wasn't playing tonight. He's on Not Safe for Work from home, but he was trying to bait out of Aullora. He was just like, "So what are you guys gonna play tonight? What's the game plan?" Just trying to get something out of them. But yeah, no, they get rid of Deckard, so that's gonna be targeted towards Lakefu, targeted towards Vesper with the Urel. We have a target towards Aullora with the Rag, and they're sitting here considering, do they ban out that Tracer? It has been consistently banned out. We have not seen a single Mochrie Tracer. They're gonna go for the Sylvanas. Jazzy is up. Jazzy has played a very strong Sylvanas as well, with those layered heroics, that wailing arrow for a setup or a continued silence or just CC during these phases. And now Big Ding Energy has to consider this. Well, do we grab the Tracer? I don't think they're going to try and steal it away on the side of Lil Rubies, but like, do they prioritize it within this first draft phase? Because otherwise it gets banned out, right?
Yeah, I mean, they'll have another rotation to grab it. So I think that they need to see what pieces they can get first and then go for the Tracer. Okay. As far as Tracer counters go, there are a lot of random Tracer counters. The challenge is that Mochrie's played with and against so many of them that he knows how to play around them. There's one of my favorite counters to Tracer is Taunt Variant, but the problem is we saw a long time ago in HGC when Tracer came out that doesn't work so well against good Tracers because you're going to charge and you can't cancel that charge. So you may end up in Africa because they will use all three dashes as you're charging, and you will be in the middle of their team and you will get dropped. So it is one of those tricky things that a lot of the things that you might think are good counters for Tracer might not work against a Grandmaster Tracer player that one tricks Tracer. I mean, not a one trick anymore, plays a lot of different things because Tracer gets banned all the time. Yeah, so there is the Tracer, which is awesome. There are a lot of things that work really well with Tracer. I like Abathur with Tracer, but Mochrie's pretty safe to play Tracer without using too much to strategize.
I'm wondering if... So this is probably Bloodlust, but do we see any sort of Tassadar here? Because I actually love the idea of a Tassadar because you have the Diablo. So you're going to be having walls that Tassadar can spawn every 18 seconds. And that, because it was changed and I keep forgetting that. So so every 18 seconds without the level 20 upgrade, which I believe reduces what to like 8 seconds or something like that. It's very like it reduces it quite a bit. So Diablo can get shadow charges into those, but Bloodlust Archon is so strong. Like there's so many, like I've watched so many streams where someone just like gets bodied by a Bloodlusted Archon and they're just like, wow, Tassadar is very strong with Bloodlust. It's just like, yeah, like Europe's been doing this, people in North America here and there have been doing this. I mean, Selenity and Not Safe for Work, I believe they were the ones who did that in one of the first weeks with Mal'Ganis too. So I love the idea of them grabbing the Tassadar here. We'll see if that's going to be the case. They do, though, ban out the Lunar, that it's going to be another target towards Allora's hero pool, and they're actually going to get rid of Lash's Zarya. They're just a little too afraid of that.
Yeah, Lashes has been playing a pretty good Gul'dan, and she still plays Orphea. I'd be a little worried about bringing either of those against a Tracer. I mean, you could, like, there is a world you go W build against Tracer just because you out-drain the amount of damage she does. So there is a world that you do that, but you'll get CC'd way too much by Diablo, so I don't really expect that to be the call. We do see the Gul'dan, but I don't think she's going W build. Brightwing is pretty good against Tracer, and Infernal Shrines, she's okay. My big worry about Brightwing almost always is that in order to heal the tank, you have to be in a bad position. And so that's my biggest worry is if she uses her Z to heal Joanna and doesn't have the push away ult, the Emerald Wind, then Diablo can just boom, flip, drop. But this is a pretty stacked comp over here. We've got Cassia, Tracer. They're both extremely strong right now. Leoric's pretty good on this objective. Diablo, Rhaegar. I mean, this is looking really, really strong. Liam most likely will pick up Sonya here, is what I would guess. He can really zone out a backline with Sonya. It's great on the objective. He could also go with Malthael against Leoric and Diablo, but there's the Sonya.
It's like I think they were comparing it because Vesper plays a very strong Sonya, but they also play a very strong Malthael, and Malthael into Leoric can be pretty good. They got both good self-sustain, but I think Sonya on the shrines here and the push potential with it, as well as the continued the sustained chase. I like this pickup a lot over the Malthael. But I'll be honest here, Paradox. Big Ding Energy is a terrifying composition. Like if I was playing in either of these on either of these teams. Excuse me, if I saw this in a Storm League game and I was going up against it, that's what I'd be terrified of. Sorry, I'm looking at these two compositions and I'm just like, who actually wins this out? Because there's also a lot of good control coming out from Lil Rubies here. They can slow things down. They've got, as you said, Emerald Wind. They got Blessed Shield. They've got Penetrating Round. They've got Horrify. So
yeah, I mean, if they don't like overlap all of their CC, they actually have a pretty good shot at just like delaying out the Bloodlust. Like Bloodlust goes out and you just Emerald Wind, and there goes like half the Bloodlust. And then you blind them for a decent portion of it. You might Horrify during it. So that is all really, really good options. I think the biggest concern is that Tracer is going to be all over Gul'dan, and Brightwing's going to be wasting so much time trying to just keep them locked down that it's going to just be chaos for the most part. I'm really surprised that Tracer made it through because it is really going to turn into chaos very, very quickly. And I think that's the part that I'm really concerned about. But I agree with you. I mean, Bloodlust into a comp like this, like I'm even looking at Leoric and going, does Leoric go auto attack build right now? Like you could go everything auto attack and just immediately Bloodlust charge in, and everyone can get value from it. There's even an auto attack build on Diablo. Like you could go crazy with that. So this is like this is what you want to see in a Bloodlust comp. So I think that would be really, really awesome to see. But they just need to be able to counter it. I think Emerald Wind is a must to stop that Bloodlust. But either way, with that, we are almost into this game. I do want to point out, I mean, we did just get some shares. We've got a lot of bits. Looks like 400 bits from Blonde Duchess, 300 bits from O'Malley Music. But I'm going to start off by introducing Lil Rubies on the blue side. Over on the left, we've got Liam playing Sonya. We've got Lakefu on Brightwing. We've got Trikslyr on Joanna, Kagirii on Raynor, and Lashes playing Gul'dan.
On the right-hand side, we've got Big Ding Energy. We've got Mochrie on the Tracer. Aullora will be on the Cassia. Jazzy's going to be on that Leoric. Vipey will be on the Diablo. And AliciaWins on the Rhaegar. And as you said, and I want to repeat this, thank you all so much. We have a hype train going. Thank you all so much for donating towards the prize pool. And thanks for increasing that even further. But let's go ahead and get on into mid lane for our first game in our best of 5 series in the loser bracket semifinals.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I'd imagine neither of these teams needs to play aggressive right now. You want to try to get a glance at how these fights are going to go before you really want to start playing too aggressive. Both of these teams scale pretty well, and both of these teams can deal with the objectives pretty well. I would say, we also do have Mochrie's taking out that fountain down in the bottom, taking this very seriously. We were actually just talking about having more defenses on fountains before we even turned on the stream today. And it is kind of interesting to see how easy it is to take it on people like Genji and Tracer. And they need to be balanced because of that. But it is kind of a frustrating thing to balance off of, right? Like when you have to lower the damage of a hero because a hero is capable of lowering the utility of the opposing team, like that kind of feels weird to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And even then, like we had the repositioning of a lot of the wells quite a long time ago, and even then we still find people, sniping them and finding ways to get around it. So that might just always be a factor, and people just need to be aware of, and it just might be something that teams need to consider when they're drafting on specific maps. But we are in our core rotations between mid to bottom. Lashes Rubies is going to be going into the Echoed Corruption at level 1. And that's really the only questing talent we have outside of Diablo's Black Soul Stones. They're currently sitting at 15 out of the 100 on that one. So we'll keep you up to date on those as they do progress throughout this match number 1 on Infernal Shrines. Aullora and friends just going to clear waves, grabbing some camps, putting pressure on the board. This is pretty standard start here. No one really has a massive advantage. The experience is fairly close between the two teams. Might look like it's a little ahead on one side than the other, mostly I'd say just because of the speed and the rotations and the clearing of each wave. But Mochrie taking a little bit of damage in this mid lane. Sonya, though, I don't think will find a kill, as we do have the camp in bottom lane being picked up by Lil Rubies. No invasion from Big Ding Energy.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, you don't need to do anything crazy here. You want to try to get some stacks, and as far as the talents go, I mean, we do have e-builds coming out from Gul'dan, so 4 out of 40 stacks on Echoed Corruption. At the same time, we've got 26 out of the 100 for Souls on Diablo, and that's really what both of these teams should be trying to do right now, is just try to get their stacks quickly and don't do anything crazy, because you really don't need to do anything crazy right now. You can kind of just hang back, get everything ready, and start setting up. So it's this on this first objective, though. I mean, both teams are going for the Bruiser camp. All the others have been picked up, so it should be pretty good.
How often do you see Conviction on Joanna at level 4? Because I feel like I don't see it very often. To get the movement speed is increasing by 25% while Condemn is charging up. I don't feel like I see that. I feel like on this map I see more CDR. I can't remember the name off the top of my head for that level 4 talent, but I feel like with all these skeletal defenders around and these constant group fights, getting cooldown reduction on your W, wouldn't that be more impactful than the speed? Or is it because they want the chase and the potential lockdown?
I mean, you could get away with just about anything. I think it's mainly just the lockdown potential, but I don't know. I mean, as far as Conviction goes, I just call it a scoop build, right? Like, for Joanna, right? You go in, you move really fast, you scoop people up, and then you slow everyone by 80%. It's like,
true.
So I usually call it a scoop build. On this map, it's generally not the pick for most people. And again, that's the issue with what just happened with Lakefu. That's my big complaint about Brightwing. And we saw this earlier from the same team, but Brightwing was being played by Lashes instead. This is exactly what happened, just on a different map. They really, really struggled. So that is, I'm always worried about Brightwing unless you're on like Dragonshire, where the fights are always like 2v2s, and you just join like a 2v2, make it favorable, and then you go from there. But yeah, it's a tricky one. You're always in a rough spot. In this case, though, I do think that Brightwing is a decent option against Tracer, though, because you can give spell armor to the person the bomb goes onto, and you can polymorph her when she gets rather low. But overall, the healing is just
It's a little on the lacking side, or at least it makes you feel like you wish you could have a little more from that Brightwing. But we actually just saw the massive soothing mist that came out from them to be able to get the cleanse onto just everyone within the area. Cleanse goes onto Aullora, but that will be Leoric going down. Punisher still moving in. This is still fairly healthy Punisher for our first one of the game. It will be Arcane, 65% on its health. Aullora going to be hearthing back on the far side of this fort. Polymorph, I think, actually interrupted that. They dive in, but Brightwing ends up going down. That Soul's finished out for Vipey. Punisher jumps over. They realize they can't push it any further, so they back off, and they get a decent amount of siege on this front gate and a little bit of damage onto the fort.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a bad first objective. We talked about how difficult it is to get a fort in the first objective, so I would say this is still above average, though. Being able to take both front walls, or both front turrets, and also get a little bit around 60% of the health of the fort, I think that's really solid for that first objective of the game. And as far as Soak goes, I mean, they're keeping up despite being down 3 kills, so honestly, I think they're doing really well. Big Ding Energy is going to need to focus a little bit more on these objectives. It's really difficult to win an objective against a Sonya. It's kind of like the old Kerrigan, right? Like, you used to always run Kerrigan on this map because she could always steal all of the objective point and gain all of her life back while she was doing it. So you used to always run Kerrigan on this map. Sonya's kind of the new version of that. Spin build, you just gain all of your life and you steal all of the objective, and there's like nothing you can do about it. So it's going to be really difficult. They need to win the team fight and also deal with Sonya, or else they will be really struggling on these objectives.
That's definitely one of the things that I loved about playing Sonya on this map, is that if you're left to your own devices, you can push really well. You can get the objective on your own. You can grab camps. So she's such a viable and useful hero. As Vesper's looking to play this lane aggressive, but there's also going to be a Leoric just below us who's going to be getting chased away right there. Either way, the rest of the team is going to be pretty much all up here except for Brightwing, but they've got their phase shift, so they can jump up here if things go aside, and that's not going to be the case. They grab the fort. Still going to be about a half a level down, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big downside, but they will be able to match the level 10s by the time the objective spawns. Let's talk a little bit about the ults that are picked up. We do see Pulse Rounds getting more ults off on Tracer. We see Entomb, so we're not going to be seeing any crazy ults going out on those crazy marches. Ooh, we've got nice. I mean, that was a great read coming out from Trikslyr. He saw everyone go missing. He figured they were in a bush. He checked it while he was really far away from that bush. We see Ball Lightning, which is pretty good with Entomb. It's just a good talent in general. Apocalypse. We see that Bloodlust going out. Bloodlust into Apocalypse. A lot of people are taking damage here. Vesper almost gets taken out. Kagirii is pushing everyone away, trying to stay alive as long as possible. We don't actually see the Emerald Wind being picked up here. So countering the Bloodlust is going to come down to pretty much just CCing them. Trikslyr needs to be popping that Blessed Shield every time Bloodlust comes out, and they need to probably try to drop people rather quickly. Mochrie's playing rather aggressive here. Ends up getting out. We've got Liam also playing very aggressive, but they don't really have the damage to kill Liam unless Mochrie helps, which is going to be one of the biggest challenges on the side of Big D Energy when these fights start getting a little bit more serious, is that Sonya is going to be attacking Rhaegar, Cassia, in the back line. And if they all try to push forward with it, that Sonya is just going to be slowly killing everyone in the back line. And it's always going to be a back and forth. Like, they all need to all commit to a fight, or they're going to lose that fight just because that Sonya is going to be the back line. But it's going to be the same thing with Tracer on the opposite side. I mean, which one do you think can take out someone faster or can do it more reliably? Tracer in the back line or Sonya in the back line? What are you thinking, Baha?
Well, let's see what the teams are actually going to say. Let's jump into Lil Rubies because they've got the advantage on this objective for now.
Are they? I don't know what they're doing. We're kind of just getting it for free.
Yeah. Here they come.
Yeah, we're already at 30. We don't have to overstep. Just stay the shrine.
Just be careful.
Hyperion up in 10 seconds.
Backing up a little bit. I'm entombed.
Yep, you're fine. I'm with you.
Using fear.
Poke where you can. Nice fear.
I'm just taking the
In the
shrine.
back.
over.
You're in the back. I
I'm
need
with you.
heals.
Yep, I'm
Good
with
damage
you.
though.
I'm
As
down.
much as I
I'm
can.
just taking the shrine.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
you're fine.
Good job. Get out.
I can't. Can I? Maybe I can.
Good save.
You're
Good
fine.
save.
Go, leave.
Get out.
I know I can heal off.
Yeah, we got Punisher. We're good.
They're super low actually.
Yeah, I don't put the shield or all that yet. Let's push middle.
It's gonna jump in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, really good comms coming out from them on the side of Lil Rubies right there. I mean, you can see Vesper is just communicating, I'm on the shrine. I'm just going to do these things as they played towards the back end of that. I think they did get the kill onto Lakefu, if I'm not mistaken, who just face shifted back in, so it's no big deal whatsoever. It might have been Lashes. I completely missed that. I was just so enamored by the comms because I was just watching everything happen, and they were communicating so well. Like, compared to, like, week one, where it was very silent for most of these teams, like, the communication right now, Paradox, is really well kind of practiced, I guess is the best way to say that.
Yeah, it's definitely come a long way. These teams have honestly gotten so much better at communicating. Oh, we have an Entomb, all the ults being thrown out, trying to take out Trikslyr, and he will definitely drop there. You can be unstoppable, but unstoppable doesn't get you through walls. Yeah, honestly, the comms have gotten so much better. I completely agree. And it was, they had an exact, like, strategy. They had an exact goal, and their goal was have Liam win the objective while they just kind of distract a little bit. Yes, they lost another life during that objective, but they still played it out really well. It looks like Lashes might get taken out here. She doesn't. She ends up living. That's also Apocalypse being burned right there for that kill. I think I've got...
But also Horrify, too.
Right. We've talked about... Oh, that was Horrify as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this before, though. But when it comes to Apocalypse, right? You need to always guarantee that you're landing at least one stun, right? Because
I agree.
I agree. Right? You pop Apocalypse, use Q, you use E, and you flip them back into the Apocalypse, so you can always guarantee at least one stun. Vipey's doing everything else perfectly. Like, Vipey's led to several kills that they normally wouldn't have gotten, but that's definitely something that I think Vipey needs to practice a little bit. When you Apocalypse, you got a combo off of it.
I agree. I think that, at least that situation right there, I think the Horrify was just like, they saw everything that was kind of lining up. They were like, all right, we know what you're going for, even though this is a fight right in front of our own front gate. And they just were like, you know what, Horrify, get it out of there. And next objective is probably a minute or so away. So by the time that's back up, we should both have Apocalypse and Horrify. Everything else is already off cooldown. So our next team fight is going to be massive over this top lane Punisher, which is going to be Mortar. I don't know. I'm super excited about this. Because
This next
Mortar
fight
Punisher
is going to be very, very intense. I mean, we're also closing in close to level 16s for either team. So if one team catches one out of position a couple times, they'll hit 16 first. But otherwise, 16 should be around the corner for both teams. This is also one of those awkward punishers because there's only really 2 places to escape. And it's very easy to flank on the opposite side so that you can kind of cut everyone off. So if more than just Sonya is ever clearing that objective, there's a good chance that they can get taken out very quickly in a flank. So this is one of those objectives where we usually see like the most aggressive plays.
So they're gonna grab this camp over here, and as I said, they're gonna go ahead and get these shrine for top. Oh, they're gonna delay this out a little bit. I like that call. That's a really, really smart call. Just to be like, you know what? This will get into lane with the objective phase. Now, this should get cleared out, but it's gonna pull them off of the objective for a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing is usually these camps on this particular objective just get free cleared. It's very easy to clear it as a team, but you're right. I mean, even if it takes off 5 seconds, that could be 5 seconds that allows your team to win the objective when the other team doesn't. Both teams do end up grabbing it though, so it should be mostly a break even without too much of an issue. We do have Hyperion available. We've got Horrify. I mean, all the ults are available here, but there's already a 15 Skeletal Defender lead on the side of Big Ding Energy before we even get started in this fight.
Wrath of Berserker will be popped. There's going to be there was a phase shift initially. There's the Bloodlust coming out from the Rhaegar. Apocalypse comes out from the Diablo. There's a Horrify on top of that. Entomb was locking one in. That does find the Joanna kill. Lakefu's going to get overpowered. They're going to go down right there. Ball Lightning's going to jump from player to player. Vesper can't spin to win through all of that. And they find a 3rd kill. Lash just tries to throw some damage backwards. Doesn't find a kill either. And they're going to go down. That's 4 for none. And the members of Big Ding Energy are going to take a strong lead during this objective phase.
And this is all where it starts. I mean, they lost every objective, but they're also 9 kills ahead. And this is the first objective they've won. There are an average of 20-second death timers on 4 different heroes on the side of Lil Rubies, which means that this will likely take, well, it'll definitely take the fort, but it'll likely take front walls of keep and potentially even take the keep if they can push this a little bit further. I mean, what went wrong that fight, Baha? Like, I noticed that Brightwing tried to heal Joanna and just immediately died, but what else went wrong? Because they didn't do a single... Everyone on Big Ding Energy had full health bars at the end of that fight.
It's just the healing and the bloodlust value. Like, Rhaegar in general, like, I think I looked over at chat and someone's just like, I don't know about Rhaegar, but, like, I love Rhaegar here in this composition. You got auto attacks from Cassia, auto attacks from Tracer, auto attacks from Leoric, auto attacks from Diablo. You're going to get your health back during bloodlust, and that is what kept them alive and keeps them so sustained in these fights. They have good damage out on the side of Little Rubies, but they can't counteract the healing output from bloodlust plus the chain heals from Rhaegar.
Yeah, that's the thing. Honestly, there's just so much healing from Bloodlust. Like, that's why I said, like, I felt like they needed longer ways to cancel Bloodlust or, like, combo people down, like, CC block them. So pick your target with, like, Blessed Shield and just immediately combo them. We have Entomb locking Vesper out of position and immediately blowing up Vesper. I mean, died so quickly, he couldn't even pop Nerves of Steel in time. Just immediately dropped. I mean, even if he did pop it, I think they probably killed him through it. It's only 25% of your max health as a shield. It's not the level 21 that gives you like 60 armor. But yeah, I mean, that is brutal. This is the comms that, I mean, you want to see this type of coordination out of teams like this, especially in the semifinals of this event. You want to see people hiding in bushes, setting up ganks, and dropping teams. I mean, we're currently looking at 11-1 right now in this game.
I can't believe it. Like, I thought Little Rubies had a lot more control in this than they did, but the aggression coming out from the opposing side, it is a dive comp, and they are utilizing this dive very well. Leoric will go into top lane to make sure that they're going to be soaking things back up. Mochrie just going to finish out the tower right there. Next Punisher will be mid lane. It is going to be Frozen. I didn't look at the timer when the last one expired, but we should be fairly close to this one being announced. So Frozen Punisher will be really, really powerful into this mid lane, as we already noted. Front gate is down the left-hand side, but Big Ding Energy, they're missing their front gate and their fort. If they can grab this on the side of Little Rubies once again, they're going to be threatening keep, and then maybe more, because, I don't know, like Frozen Punishers, those things siege really, really well. I believe they locked down the towers for 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's a very short amount of time. Actually, I think it's longer than that. I think it's like 2.5 seconds, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I said 1.5. I was like, that seems way too short.
I'm like, I know it's a short amount of time, but I think it's longer than that because it does lock them down for a little while. I think it's like 2.5. With that being said, though, I mean, this is late enough into the game. Any of these punishes would be terrifying. Level 20s are approaching Big Thing Energy, so they're going to get those 20s, and this is going to be a rough objective. I mean, if I was Lil Rubies, I would probably not even fight for this objective. But with that being said, I'm curious about the comms of Big Thing Energy. You think this would be a good time to hop in?
Let's try it out.
Linking through that in case they were jumping me.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
All
we're
right.
not doing boosters. We're going
Not as
straight
bad,
to
not as
objective.
bad.
No
Objective
booster.
right now.
Straight
all 5. Let's go.
objective.
They're below us, so we want to control the bottom entry. Like the bottom and the left entries is where they're going
Okay.
to come in from.
Okay. I'll set
That's
up
what we
over
wanna
here.
keep in mind. Sounds good.
Yeah, they give me vision. Thank you.
That's fine.
They're just
the one
pushing
that
bot.
where they can have it if they want it.
This
they
frozen
can
on
have
it
it.
for this, dude. Jack, do you want to clear top lane fast then?
Yeah, that's gonna
Okay.
I'll
happen.
take a spot in that bush.
Yeah, they're just giving this entirely.
Sonya's up here.
We can
Oh.
39 this, guys. Take our bruisers and then come back. It gives Leo time to clear and then rejoin the team.
39. 39.
Alright, go do bruises.
All right, I'm finishing this. There we
Are
go.
they going straight for the keep too?
They're trying to make us back. We can rotate on it. No, they actually just left. Okay.
They think we're backing. They think we're backing already. It's just
I guess.
perfect.
Yeah, they
Oh.
They think we're backing to them.
thought we were backing. That's fine.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, we take this and then we just push.
All right, I'm ready.
All 5 middle. Everyone middle.
Very well communicated plan. Also, just great observation on the minimap and communication to the team. Like, that was very, very well just communicated. The setup, what they're gonna do, how they're gonna play it, where they should position, who should be where. But Diablo's gonna shadow charge in. Bloodlust is gonna come out. Hyperion's gonna be there as well. Trikslyr taking a lot of damage. That's a Horrify to split them away towards the keep front gate. That was also the upgrade on Horrify, the Hunt. That's why it took so long for them to actually stop walking away from each other. But the Punisher is going to zone them away. Trikslyr doing its best to just clear this out. There should be another jump for the Punisher, unless that already happened. But they get the fort in mid lane. Things in mid are pretty even, and the camp in top lane already cleared. Well, on its way to be cleared out.
Yeah, honestly, that fight, I know that wasn't an actual team fight, right?
Right.
But that actually turned out pretty good, and it makes me a little bit more optimistic about Lil Rubies' team fight. When that Bloodlust went out, they were able to completely lock down the team and get Leo very, very low. If they worked a little bit more on communicating who they're going for, they could easily take out some targets before that even ended. Full team was stealth. They went in while they were all stealth, and now they're jumping in, trying to save Leo, trying to save Liam as well. And the Apocalypse stuns 2 different people there, taking them out. Trikslyr's getting a few people low. Vipey teleports into their backline, stuns their entire backline, stuns them again, stuns them a 3rd time, and takes them out. That is a team wipe, and they could actually head mid and likely end the game because they do have a lot of siege damage with the team that they have. All they need to do is destroy this sidewall here. Don't destroy the turrets, just the sidewall. Walk to the keep and end the game, and it looks like that's the call that's being made.
Looks like they're going to open things up a little bit further for themselves, but yeah, you can even see like the posturing is towards the far side of the keep. They even pop the Bloodlust because they're just like, let's burn through this, let's take game 1, let's get our energy up as Rhaegar is going to get sniped by the Nexus forces. But the rest of the team moves forward. Rhaegar was like, cool, I gave you Bloodlust, that's all you needed. Try and end the game. The closest one to respawning is going to be Brightwing at 15 seconds. So this will be Big Ding Energy going up 1 in our best of 5 series in the loser bracket semifinals. GG, well played.
Oh yeah, this was brutal. Honestly, I mean, this was really brutal, but I think the thing that confused me the most was the draft, right? I mean, it seemed like Big Ding Energy got every single thing that they wanted. I mean, yes, there was a rag ban, but other than that, they got everything they wanted. The Sylv ban was a little strange because, yes, Jazzy's been playing a really strong Sylvanas, but Jazzy's also a really good Artanis and Leoric, and she can play any role in whatever she needs to do. So that's a little surprising. Also, this is the map that Lakefu has dominated on with Alexstrasza. And it's like she didn't go for the Alexstrasza. When Deckard was banned, she went with Brightwing, which I personally, like outside of Dragonshire, I don't really like seeing Brightwing that much. I really think the draft threw me off the most. Do you think there was a certain point in there that something threw them off? Like, do you think like the Deckard ban was it? Like when they were like, we have no idea what we're doing now? Or do you think they were expecting the Tracer to be first pick and their whole comp revolved around getting that Rhaegar? And then the Rhaegar got banned, they just all got flustered. Like, what do you think really happened at this draft? I mean, Big Ding Energy got some major pieces. Tracer got Mochrie, Cassia was on Aullora, or sorry, Aullora had Cassia, and Rhaegar was on their team as well. And it's like, How did that even happen, Baha?
I don't even like. I'm sitting here looking at all of this, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, well, what would be better? Like, would have Stukov been a better option? Like flailing swipe? I know Stukov has to stand still for some, for lurking arm. They have to kind of just sit still for a little bit. And that's that's Tracer and Diablo and Cassia. So maybe they were just like Brightwing shuts down some of the dive, and that's what they were looking for. That's the only kind of logic that I can throw at it, is just like they want the polymorph, and they thought that they would be able to get some late game value. There was a couple like phase outs I saw Brightwing pull off, which worked out really well. You mentioned the spell armor for the pulse bomb for Tracer. So I think a lot of things lined up, but I just don't think it really went the way that they were expecting for this first game here. But hey, it's a best of 5 series. It's you can lose a couple here and you can still win it back. So we'll see what happens with this. But on the note of maps, we actually already have our second map here. And do you want to take a guess at what it is?
I want to say Dragonshire, but I already know what the map is.
I said that to you, and I pulled you in just as I said it. I was like,
the map, and I'm like, I'm gonna guess Dragonshire. No, the map is Cursed Hollow, which is, I mean, it's like the original map, right? Like this is the map that you make a new account or you're brand new to the game.
Mm-hmm.
This is the map that you're gonna play so much that you're like, oh, this isn't the only map when you finally get another map. Because when you initially start playing the game, it puts you into a new player zone where you have to play Cursed Hollow for probably like the first 30 levels or something. I think it is. It's quite a bit.
It's not. I don't know if it's that much, but it is a decent chunk. Like you have to play quite a few Cursed Hollow games. But I think that is also really good when you're coming to the game, because I was listening to Grubby earlier on the Rank EU Win show, and he made really good points. He's like, to enjoy the game, there's probably like anywhere from 40 to 80 to 100 hours that you invest into this game, just playing it to just kind of like enjoy it. To get to like some of the tactical and like the deeper knowledge in rotations, camp timings, compositions, drafts, all that kind of stuff. He was saying, you're investing anywhere from 2 to 3 years. So I like that, you start out here and it's just simple. Like Cursed Hollow is very close to a lot of the other MOBA based maps. It's got 3 lanes. It's quite large. The rotations aren't too easy. It's not like you can just disappear from a lane and then all of a sudden they're in top lane ganking you. It's a lot faster than like League of Legends. I've played in top lane in League, and it's just like, hey, can someone rotate? It's like, see you in about 2 weeks.
Right.
So, it's one of those things.
Man, in League, it's like I'll have like Merc boots, which if you're unfamiliar with League, it's like the fastest boots you can have in the game. And I'm in like bottom lane, and someone's getting ganked in top lane, and I'm like, I'll be there after your second death. Like you're gonna die again by the time I can get there. It's such a long thing, but mounts in this game make it very easy to get from one side of the map to the other. Cursed Hollow is a very big map, though. It is kind of familiar to like the old Dota style. You've got the 3 lanes, you've got certain things you should be looking for, double boss map. So it helps. It's a really good map for new players, and it's one of those that you can give up objectives without losing experience. So it doesn't feel as bad as a map like Alterac, where if you lose that first objective, you might be down like 2 or 3 levels after that. And so this is one of those maps where it's like you can lose the first couple objectives and then go, okay, I get it now. I see how we need to win these fights, and then you can get to that third fight, which is usually level 10s. Both teams have a good chance at it, and it kind of goes from there. So that's, I mean, it's definitely a great map for that. It's just a fun. It's a fun map for that. I really like Cursed Hollow, purely because of the strategy too. I mean, you have it's one of the few maps that like you could choose to give up like the entire objective if you have a plan, right? Like if you're like, okay, well, let's go for the let's go like, oh, they won the first 2 objectives. They're gonna hit level 10 before us. It's like, let's go to boss. And so they go to the objectives, you go to boss, you get a boss that's pushing, that'll take a fort, and you just need to defend the other 2 forts, and you could almost come out ahead losing the objective if you plan it out right, which is why this map can have a lot of communication, but it's also a huge map, and with all of the bans being focused on target bans, there's a lot of potential for globals to hit this map.
Well, we're here, we're on Cursed Hollow. Do we get the globals? Do we get Vikings? Paradox. I don't think there's anyone that plays Vikings on either of these. I mean, does Trikslyr play Vikings? I feel like he's one of those people that does play Vikings.
So
like he's got
Trikslyr. Yes, I have seen Trikslyr play Vikings. I can tell you, He can play Vikings. He was actually talking about this on his stream like 3 weeks ago, I think. He said that he'd like to play Vikings in this. The only problem is that he needs to tank for his team, and he doesn't know who would be tanking if he went to go play the Vikings. So
That's a good point.
I remember he mentioned that on stream, so I don't think that he's going to play the Vikings here. We see Cassia Ragban this time. Again, that's giving Tracer over. I'm still a little surprised. I don't think Tracer did that much that game, but part of what makes Tracer strong is the chaos that she brings to a team, right? It's not always just the straight damage or the kills that she gets. It's more of everyone has to turn around, you start running towards her and she's gone. And then like all that effort that you did to try to get back to her is wasted. And now because you turned your back, all their team just killed you. It's like, that's the problem with Tracer here. Burel, Rhaegar, Ban. That means Deckard could be picked up first if they want to go for it. There's also Zool available. He's still very strong. I mean, there's a lot of potentials for first pick here. They could go with a tank first, but I feel like the Deckard pick would be the strongest just because Lakefu's been winning like the majority of the games at Deckard. I mean, I'd love to go back and check right now. I think it's like 90% in CCL, 90% win rate with Deckard first pick, but instead we see the EPC first picked.
Interesting, the cow.
That is interesting.
Displacement's good, harassment's good. I don't know. I'm sorry. I was giggling a little bit to myself because Aullora said rude in draft chat, and Trikslyr responded with, "You're carrying Mochrie. We have to shut you down." As Cassia and Rag bands are specific towards Aullora, and Deckard Cain will be stolen away right there. Is this one of those situations, Paradox, where like Lil Rubies is misreading the draft?
I don't know what they're trying to get. Like, I just don't understand. Like, normally you have a plan to win first, and then you have a plan to like counter second. So your plan is like, what is the 3 picks we need to come up with like a team fight that's going to win? Then you go, okay, what did the enemies pick to win, and how do we counter that? And I feel like they're just immediately trying to pick what counters. Like, ETC is good, but I don't think that he's better than Lakefu's Deckard. And same thing with Tracer. It's like, the Cassia band's good, but I don't think that Allora's Cassia was as good as Mochrie's Tracer. Now, don't get me wrong, it was way better. I mean, we keep making the jokes that she needs more heroes, but that was a mean Cassia.
Oh, no, 100%. 100%. I agree with you. Like, I wasn't like, when I saw her on Cassia, I was like, I don't know if I've seen Aullora on Cassia before. Like, I've been trying to like jump to everyone's stream to see what they're playing in between the weeks for us, but I feel like I haven't seen any Cassia from her, so it was a surprise for me. And she did well on that Cassia. So we'll see what's gonna be the case here. Lunara is up and available. We know that's a comfort for them as well. I have seen Aullora on Maltheo if they want to play that solo lane position, but I think Jazzy's been kind of floating in that area as well. There is the Sylvanas ban, which is targeted towards Jazzy. I believe the Orphea ban is towards, well, I would say maybe either Kagirii or Lashes. I think both of them do play that hero fairly well, but we get a Gul'dan and Diablo.
I think it was Lashes, because Lashes only really plays a few things right now, and she's been practicing a lot of Gul'dan and Orphea, so they're just like, okay, you're gone. You're gone. You don't have anything left. You have Zarya. And we've beat you on your Zarya before, so we know we can beat you on Zarya again. Like, that's what they've given Lashes. They're like, you can play Zarya. Enjoy. We took away everything else that you've, like, yeah. I'd imagine Malthale here, if I was to take a guess, but, Alarak.
I like an Alarak.
Lane Alarak. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do Alarak in the soul lane. He can cover double soak better than people think. If you can land a combo on Tracer, you've got a decent shot. If you can't land a combo on Tracer, which is going to be very difficult, it's going to be a rough one for sure. But Alarak is really fun, honestly. Like, I mean, he could certainly make this a game. Do they have enough damage to take out Diablo? I don't know. But they sure have enough damage to take out Gul'dan, Deckard, or Tracer. So they could definitely go with that. Yeah, this is a very interesting draft. As far as globals, I mean, we're not really seeing any globals from either team unless ETC goes stage dive, which I don't think he will, because as far as Mosh interrupts, there's not that many. If he can mosh, yeah, I mean, if he can mosh like Gul'dan and Diablo, like even if he moshes Gul'dan, Stay a While and APOC take a little too long to prep, which means that you still get like more than half your mosh done by the time it gets interrupted. So as long as he can mosh Gul'dan, everyone else is just gravy, honestly.
That was actually a conversation I had on stream last night. We were talking about Durance of Hate from Mephisto and with the level 20 upgrade. But by the time you do the calculation, what Mosh is 4 or 5 seconds, and Durance of Hate has a 1 second wind up, and it's a 2.5 second root, and then you get the sounds at the end. So by the time all that happens, Mosh was pretty much over. But you do have them rooted in silence, so maybe you can capitalize onto that. But it was just one of those things that we were talking about, because we were talking in that specific game, like Mosh Pit versus Stage Dive. They kept going Stage Dive, and we were like, well, there's not a whole lot of Mosh Pit interrupts, and if they mosh half the team, then any sort of interrupts they have are pretty much too late or too slow before they can really find a kill. But either way, let's go ahead and get into game number 2 on Cursed Hollow. On the left-hand side, we got Lil Rubies. We are going to be seeing Lashes on the Zarya. Lakefu is going to be on the Stukov. Kagirii is going to be on the Rainer. Vesper is going to be on that Alarak, and Trikslyr will be on the ETC.
On the right side, we have Big Ding Energy, or BDE for short. We've got Mochrie playing his famous Tracer. We've got Aullora on Gul'dan. We've got Vipey playing Diablo, Jazzy on Leoric, and Alicia taking that Deckard.
I'll be honest here, Paradox, and maybe this is just my own potato opinion here. I'm surprised there's no global consideration. There's no Falstad, there's no Dahaka. Like, those are 2 big heroes on this map, in my opinion, that get so much value. Falstad can grab camps, build the Lightning Rod bonus damage with Wingman at level 1, or even Dahaka brush stalking in, because there's so many opportunities for them to flank into the enemy team and get around the map very quickly, being able to kind of step into the bush, get that speed boost, and then rotate through a lane. So I'm a little surprised by it, but we'll see what happens here, because I'd say it's a little bit of this hybrid dive build on the side of Big Ding Energy. You've got Tracer and Diablo getting in there together. Leoric can Wraith Walk in, and Deckard Kane just kind of throwing potions into the team, or maybe behind them as they're trying to back off, or even advancing, and then they just kind of cycle in and out. But this seems like a lot more control, once again, from Lil Rubies. They got some kill pressure with the Rainer and the Alarak, but other than that, I think they're going to be waiting for the enemy team to step up and make some mistakes before they really kind of play aggressive into them. That's at least the way that I see this at the start of the game, but we'll have to see how it all unfolds as camps are going to be grabbed. First one will be on the right-hand side by Big Ding Energy, already on point for this, as Stukov and Rainer rotate to grab their own.
Yeah. No, I agree on that global factor. I mean, you'll see Dahaka and Falstad a lot in the upper levels of, like, Div S and Method Madness and stuff. You'll see a lot of Falstad, you'll see a lot of Dahaka, and it's not just like they do 2 major things. Like, it always forces you to have a really bad choice, and the choice is you either need to fight them, like keep someone fighting against the Dahaka or the Falstad in the solo lane, but then whenever they're ready to force a fight, they can immediately force a 5v4 and they'll win whatever objective is. Or you can leave to go to the objective early, and guess what? They can destroy your entire fort while you're gone. Falstad and Dahaka have surprisingly high siege damage, so I am a little surprised that as well that we didn't even see the consideration of either team going for that. But I do still think that it's a I don't know. I mean, both these teams are still playing this very strategically. They're taking the camp early on. I do think it's interesting that neither of these teams really wanted to go with a camp for the actual objective. They both grabbed camps early to get that experience lead, but they didn't actually try to go for a camp to be a distraction during the objective. Like, usually blue side on like an objective spawning bottom, blue side will get the siege camp right as the objective spawns, and red side will get the bruiser camp right as the objective spawns, making it to where both kind of put the opposing team on a timer.
It does, because you get free siege that way, but overpower, there's going to be the shadow charge. Trikslyr takes a little bit of damage. Armor reduction will be there. Tracer dives in to try and get some damage into Trikslyr as well, but they're just pretty much ignoring as they get the power slide away. They should have a face melt as well. Alicia did go into Ruby at level 4, and they pretty much have that every Herodric cube, so the healing output from that Ruby is going to be very beneficial. There's like, I don't know, I'd say it's like 70 less. Like, if the healing potion heals for 500, the little vials that pop out from Ruby are healing for like 425 or something like that. So it's very, very close when it comes to those. And obviously the last time I looked at that was at, I think, at like level 10, but still. Mochrie a little bit lower.
Like 87% or something. It's really crazy. It's like really high. Like, if it's not more than 90%, I'd be surprised. Wow, that was really close. I mean, I wouldn't consider Alarak a great counter to Tracer, but it's gonna make it a really interesting game with the skill matchups. He's getting rather low though, and that's also gonna break his sadism. The build that he's going is very sadism heavy, which means that The longer he stays alive, the scarier he will be. But if he ends up dying, he will be losing a huge portion of his damage. In this case, he didn't have too much sadism to lose, but it's still going to make a pretty decent impact. Down a level and a talent here, they were still able to take that objective purely from taking that Alarak down early. I mean, what do you think Lil Rubies needs to be doing in this situation right now to try to, like, what talent tier are they looking for to just be able to start winning these fights?
I honestly think it's heroic. I think the heroic's going to change a lot for them. Flailing Swipe is going to be a good disengage tool. Graviton Surge or Expulsion Zone is going to be either good zoning or potential setup, depending on which one you go to. Hyperion will be siege pressure, or you still could get Rainer's Raider if you want that more sustained damage into the backline. And maybe Rainer's Raider does open that opportunity. Maybe there's a little bit of harassment from the little Raider that can get into the backline and kind of start to split the enemy team and maybe peel them up, giving opportunities for ETC to get in. So my big thing is I think Power Spike will be level 10. And I think that will be where things might change over. I do want to note as well, Trikslyr did go into Speed Metal at level 4. I've been seeing some ETCs pick this up a little bit more so over the loudspeakers. They just don't, we don't need that extra face melt value. But they also went into Echo Pedal at level 7, which is going to give them a little extra siege and wave clear. So or not really siege, but just wave clear in general. So I'm kind of excited to see how this shapes up. But to answer your question, overall, it's going to be level 10s just because I think that's going to bring a whole new aspect to these team fights. And I know that might sound like a cop-out, but it literally, like, I think Flailing Swipe might change completely how Vipey is going to be engaging onto them as they get the Shadow Charge. There's going to be a Pulse Bomb as well. Kagirii living through a lot of that damage, lurking them onto the ground. There's a recall from Tracer, but it's literally into the same spot. Lashes gets picked off, and Tracer's able to get away. Gul'dan and Alarak are still in top lane as the fight continues down here, but they're just trying to get out of here, I think, Paradox.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, there's not too much you can do. They're fighting a 3v4, and it's not too favorable. I mean, in what they actually have. They have a Rainer, but that's not going to be able to do that much on its own. Gul'dan is matching the Alarak up there, making it to where Alarak can't rotate down. And it looks like they're going to have to get out there. And yeah, I mean, that build, Speed Metal into Echo Pedal, reminds me a little bit of the solo lane build. So I am curious if you just go stage dive and start taking the solo lane and then having them run in the 4-man with Alarak and everything. I mean, that could be a different look at it. And that might be their strategy. I mean, there's not a lot of Mosh interrupts. I would really like to see Mosh, but it is also a big map that benefits from global. So maybe that is the reason they decided to go this type of build is for that stage dive.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know if we'll see I don't know. Like, stage dive's all right. I just think Mosh Pit has got so much more setup for this team. Now, here's an odd one. I don't think I ever see Mochrie picking this up. Pulse rounds? Increasing the range and the charge rate for basic attacks. But maybe, or was the artwork changed? Because I feel like it was never this red one. I feel like it was always...
Yeah, so he has...
Is it just new artwork?
He didn't. No, it's the same artwork. He didn't used to take it. You are correct.
Okay.
He didn't take it.
I'm not losing my mind.
He takes it now because it's more sustained damage. And he plays Tracer more like a sustained damage dealer now. He does have a little bit of burst, like 1-2 punch, but he gets a lot more ults off. It's a little bit more aggressive, and he can cover what his team's lacking if his team's lacking like that sustained damage. He'll still sometimes go to percent health, but it's usually more against like Garrosh, who they get that extra armor, and you can kind of like finish him off when it's the hardest to finish him off, right?
Let's I'm gonna cut you off there. Let's get into Little Rubies comps or
Got you.
I'm almost there.
I have
I'm
Hyperion
looking
up.
for something. Maybe on cooldown.
Pushing up. I'm gonna power slide them on the bush if they come at me. Okay.
We're getting aim bombs.
Oh no, my
Oh, I'm here.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, we can't even get to you.
Got him
Wow, nice Mosh. Mosh.
Suck it!
Damage, please. Good job, guys. I'm channeling.
One Vipey, maybe.
Yep, I'm Vipey.
Vipey's low.
Vipey.
Get the kill, and then we need to work on this boss top.
Yeah. Wow, nice Mosh.
Blue team has destroyed a fort.
godlike Mosh that turned that around. I was like, all right, you know, one goes down right there. I think Stukov took flight early into that fight across my screen, and Trikslyr just goes, I've got 2 health. Let me just drop my R and get a 5-member Mosh, essentially. Lashes follows up with an amazing Graviton Surge, and they find, what, 3 kills? And they get the objective and stop the curse against them? Very well played from Little Rubies.
I wanted to say something so bad, and I was like, "Wait, I'm in their comms. I don't want to ruin their comms. Like, I don't want to be the caster that like starts flooding their comms." And I'm like, but I wanted to say something so bad. That was insane. Like, and they were so calm during it. Like, Triksly's sitting there on like -10 health, and he's just like, "No worries. I'm just gonna get a slide in here. I might just dance on them a little bit, play some music for them." Like, he was so calm about it. And then they just comboed everything together, and they did so much damage. Now we're going to be seeing 20 more sadism on the side of Aullora for this next fight if they end up doing something similar, but Mosh is down for 30 seconds, and every single ult is up on the side of Big Ding Energy. So, I mean, what do you think is going to be happening here, Baha?
I think they need to play this real smart, and they're actually going to get their lockdown onto the Leoric initially. If they get this kill, that's huge. Horrify comes out, that's going to split the ETC, but they still have to chase in. That's going to be Graviton Surge coming out. Vipey taking a lot of damage. The Stay Awhile and Listen's going to stop them for a couple seconds as the Apocalypse comes out as well. Vipey will be going down. They did not have souls, so they're not going to get the buyback immediately. Aullora goes down as well. Hyperion continuing to chase in. It just now ends. But with that, I want to point this out, because I don't think anyone saw this. At the start of the fight, Aullora had 110 sadism. At the start of that fight, at the end of it, they had 133.
Yeah.
That is just absolutely insane to me.
It's a mix of kills, and Pure Malice is actually a really powerful talent. Because the big thing about Aullora, one of his major downsides is if your team gets wiped, you're done. But in this case, if your team gets wiped and you're the first one to die, or like you die and then come back and a couple people die, like Pure Malice can really, really catch you up in your sadism. But it's also a little bit of a win more because a fast 40% sadism is really good. In fact, there was a team, it was a minor region team back in like 2017 that ran Pure Malice with Murky.
Oh.
And it was wild. It was wild. Like that Murky was able to get
that feels like a cheese,
yeah, they were able to get the 40% sadism so quickly that they were just dropping people. They would go Q build and just do burst damage on people, and it was really insane. A lot of damage going out onto that Diablo immediately at the start of the fight, and a Graviton silencing him. But we also have the Stay a While sleeping 4 members of their team. Trikslyr getting very low, Mochrie finishing off Tracer, and we also have that Ancient Blessings on Mochrie, increasing his DPS by over 100, while also giving him extra healing during that. Silence is going out, but that's already Zarya being taken out, and Gul'dan gets dropped by a quick burst at 160 sadism, doing a huge amount of burst damage in that build. At the same time, I mean, this is a 2 for 1 right now, and I mean, I think it was 2 for 2, and then Leoric came back. I could be wrong on that, but
you have it right. You have it right. Man, it was yeah, that was I was because production was just like, we should get into comms before this, and I was like, yeah, and then the fight started breaking. I was like, no, we need to see how this fight unfolds. And honest to God, like, these Graviton Surge have been so impactful in slowing down the fight, but just right there is just one of those situations where they couldn't capitalize on it too well, and Leoric kind of respawning right in the battleground really threw them off. But getting that counter pick, or at least getting a pick onto the Gul'dan, I believe, that really helps him out a ton. And honestly, like, Gul'dan seemingly had like over 400 health, and I feel like the extended lightning just took all of that away. Right now, we do have boss and bottom lane up and available. This is a weird... Okay, I was gonna say, this is a really weird call, because typically teams, you want to utilize the majority of your curse phase to get some experience in lane, some quick wave clears, and then maybe towards the tail end of the curse, you then rotate for boss. Doesn't seem like they're actually gonna do boss whatsoever. Maybe they're chatting about it in comms, but now they're gonna say, let's dive on lashes in mid and try and find a fight right there, Paradox. But unfortunately, I think they should be able to back off with Trikslyr, but a Horrify comes out.
Horrify. Oh, a little bit of miscommunication on that. A lot of ults were used right there, and to counter all those ults, simple Graviton, a little bit of a zoning Graviton right there. What is gonna make it a little interesting for me is, I mean, as they're approaching level 20s, level 20 Graviton is really, really powerful. I mean, they change it to where it's essentially the same as Entomb, except for Entomb lowers the duration of Entomb to give that silence, where the upgraded Graviton increases the duration to give the silence. So, I mean, do you think that's the route Lashes is going to take, or do you think she's going to go like Rewind, which you normally see, so you can give like extra shields to everyone?
I think with how Graviton's worked out for them, I think that they go the upgrade at level 20. Will the invade happen in time over here? They're going to try and chase in onto this. Unfortunately, that won't be the case. They're going to pull them in, but they don't make the they invade in time. They're able to get that boss, and this will be boss in top, boss in bottom. Next objective is going to be in the bottom right of the map, and I think we still got a little bit of time on that one since there is a bit of a longer delay once a curse does happen from a team. But this is Lil Rubies up 2 out of 3 of the tributes that they need. So if they can get this, they've already got the map opened up a little bit for themselves. They could really do some damage into the enemy side. But first things first, they got to get control of the map. They got to look for that 20 talent tier, and they got to posture and also put some map pressure against Big Ding Energy.
Yeah, I mean, they're down a curse and even on structures. Like, that's exactly where you want to be right before you start getting your curse.
Yeah.
It's really, really going to be nice for them, and I think this is going to turn out well. It's all going to come down to this next team fight. I mean, honestly, they have one team fight that they need to win to get a huge lead, but on the opposing side, Big Ding Energy, they've got an uphill battle. They probably need to win a couple team fights. I mean, it depends on if it comes out to be a full wipe or if it's just like 1 or 2 kills here. And we've got a little bit of an ambush being set up. Is that going to be enough? Are they going to be able to watch it? Trikslyr's been good at reading these ambushes, but at the same time, like, how are they going to play this out? So he does see it right there. He could actually go for a mosh right here. There's a 2-man mosh, and then we go for the Stay a While to interrupt as well as the Petty Pocket to interrupt as well. We have a push away trying to mitigate a little bit. Flash is just stuck in there taking a lot of damage, but she has a ton of shields that she's giving out to both herself and Trikslyr, sliding to take down Mochrie as well. That is a 3-4-0 trade, and we're sitting at 170 sadism on the side of Aullora, and now he's going to be doing a lot of damage. It's also going to give them curse, and with this curse they can take this bottom keep for free and likely also take mid keep. I don't see them ending the game here because they only have 20 seconds to take a keep and try to end the game, and curse doesn't actually help you deal with the core itself, so I think this is just going to be double keep and walk away, but that will still give them a pretty decent lead as they start approaching the level 20 tier.
Really quickly, for anyone wondering, while we are in this curse phase, 170 sadism on the Aullora. ETC's done with his proc rock. Give Me 20's done on the Zarya. 71 out of the 100 stacks on the Black Soulstone. Chaotic Energy for the Gul'dan has already been finished out as well. And we're at 3 out of the 6 stacks on Untouchable for the Tracer. Also, Leorc did grab Mithril Mason. That's at 8 stacks as Tracer tries to chase in further. They're backing off and playing this safe as they got the double keep, as you call, but Mochrie wants this fight. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, and they're just going to back off and manage their lanes. So far, Lil Rubies playing this very well, but I'm going to say this here, Paradox. Big Ding Energy, they can come back just as hard as Lil Rubies can.
They definitely can. I mean, at any point, yes, level 20s will be there, but at the same time, it's like if you don't get anything done with level 20s, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And you got to remember that, yes, that level 20 Graviton's awesome, but Leorc gets almost the same thing. It's very, very similar. It's actually a lot easier to land. So both teams have very similar options here. We do see a little bit of an ambush. Normally, when you do hit that 20, you want to force a fight. And if they can win, if they could even take out 3 people here without dying, they could close out this game. They have a lot of siege damage. Raynor does a ton of siege damage, but Alorac's auto attack damage and DPS is actually really high. He does 330 damage per auto attack right now and attacks 1.2 times a second. So that's closing in on like 400 DPS on a core without using a single ability. So overall, I mean, they have a lot of potential to close out this game if there is an ambush, but it could certainly go either way on how these fights go. I mean, right now it's just Big Ding Energy trying to play safe till 20. The objectives don't do much right now, but we do have the bosses coming up. 1 minute on the bottom side and a little more than a minute on the top side.
I was just watching that right there, and I saw the Fire Stomp from Diablo, and they're using their abilities, but you could see like everyone was just waiting. They're turtled up. They're letting the waves come to them, as you said. They're waiting for that 20 talent tier. I think they're gonna eat what's ever thrown at them until level 20, and that's at least reading the minimap. That's how it seems to me. Leorc is the only one who's really stepping out into lane, but I'm actually watching them on minimap just immediately go back towards their keep. They're playing super safe here. Vipey will be able to get out their full souls, so they at least have that for the Diablo during the next engagement, but they still don't have that 20. And I'm just peeking at the minimap, 13 seconds on boss or bottom lane, so I think this is going to be a quick rip on boss and bottom, and they're going to try and double in top. The question that I pose to you, Paradox, is Big Ding Energy gonna be grabbing that boss, or will they just have to give that over once this one gets popped up in bottom lane? Because I don't know, like it's such a weird spot to be in on the side of Big Ding Energy this late into a Cursed Hollow game.
I think they try to force 20s, and I think they try to take, or at least take the fight on that boss.
Okay.
They shouldn't take it, but they should take the fight. But if they go to that boss and they misread this, you could actually take this boss and close out the game. So if they do go up to their boss to try to counter it, this could be an opportunity to close out the game. And it looks like that's what Lil Rubies might be doing right here. They might be trying to close out the game. But again, that double boss would be impactful as well. The objective doesn't really do anything for either team, so you can see neither one of them are prioritizing it at all.
Let's do big ding energy comms because it's 20s up.
Sounds good.
Why did ETC ult? The ETC is level 20.
I don't know.
Can I look to land on Entomb?
He's two of us. I'm just shredding boss.
Get 2 on him. Get in a 2 on him. Get a 2 on him.
Can't follow that.
Give me sword bus. Give me sword bus.
Oh. I'm on lashes.
On boss. Nice. You're finishing.
Alarak, I'm on Alarak.
Nice sleep.
I'm on Kagirii.
Me too.
UTC is on the core.
Okay.
It's
He's
Cata
well. He's
too.
weakened. He's hella weakened. He's well weakened.
They managed to defend core very well there, but they took quite a bit. 65% off that core, and Kagirii slinks away and is able to steal the objective.
Yeah, I mean, again, the objective isn't worth too much for either of these teams, but that is an amazing defense, and it's also going to give them boss, and that boss could potentially give them keep in a very important lane, because they still have their keep in that lane, which means it's always going to be pushing the opposing lane out. Definitely a solid option for them overall. And I also want to point out one more important detail about that particular defense. That brought Alarak's sadism down from 166 down to 86. That is cutting his damage in half. Almost in half, technically. There's some weird math with his, but it's a long story. Anyway, yeah, so that means that a lot of that damage that allowed them to win a lot of these fights is going to be gone. And it's going to take a couple awkward fights to get that back, but most likely he won't get it back. So all the damage is going to now rely on Raynor as well as Zarya. And as far as if we were to look at the hero damage for this particular game, their second highest DPS now has half the damage that he normally has.
Graviton Surge coming out will find the Diablo. Full Souls on them. Stay a while unless we'll pause things for a couple seconds. Vipey will be just fine as they pick up a bunch of potions. Already back to full health. Boss is coming in with Siege Giants as well. Hyperion's already come out. That zones the enemy team back a little bit. Tracer trying to find a little bit of damage on the Trikslyrs who are chasing still in onto the side over here. Kagirii still putting out a little bit of damage, but he, as you were noting, will go down. Entomb comes out, there's the pulse bomb, they're focusing on the Lashes, but they don't find the kill. I believe there was a mosh pit at some point, but that's interrupted. Lashes still being dove on, will be going down. Leorg does finish the Mithril Mace, and with a massive turn of events, they step to core on the opposing side. Can Big Ding Energy take game number 2? ETC is going to be going down. All that's left is Lakefu and Kagirii and Vesper over here, as Vipey is going to try and push them away. Last laugh comes out, or I completely missed what it was, but that was a reset onto Diablo. Either way, game 2 goes over to Big Ding Energy. They go up 2-0 in our best of 5 series. GG.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this. Like, even as we approach level 20, we said, like, the Big Ding Energy can still take this game. And those level 20s were key. I mean, you have that big Graviton, but then on the opposing team, you have Entomb. So Graviton goes out, Entomb goes out, and now you guys are broke even. Same idea. You have that... a big ult goes out on like the ETC, and then boom, you have Deckard who locks down everyone as well. And it's like they had these huge level 20 upgrades. They needed to close out that game earlier, but the only way to do it is to force a fight in a really awkward area. And instead, they tried to force the end, lost their sadism, and lost a huge portion of their damage for those fights. And they could no longer finish off the targets they needed to finish off when they needed to do it. And so, I mean, it was a very risky pick to go with Alarak. He's definitely a feast or famine hero. And even in the times that he was used before in the competitive scene, he was usually used like E-build, right? Where like if you lost your sadism, it wasn't that big of a deal because you stacked so much damage on your E. But it's definitely bold. Again, I'm looking at these drafts, right, Bah? Like, I feel like you're still giving way too many pieces over. Mochrie topped everything there, didn't die.
Yeah.
Had untouchable,
Just
and
ban it.
just-
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Like, I'm gonna cut you off. Just ban it, please. Like, it's 2 games in a row. Like, it's not like it's just like, oh, that's the reason they won, because you and I talked about this. But still, they did 69,000 heroic damage. That's topping the damage in the game overall. Siege 107,000. That tops the damage on the opposing side by roughly 40,000.
Yep.
40,000 difference in Siege on a Tracer. So I'm not saying that it just wins the game. I'm just saying it's a critical factor for them to win the game. And they need to get rid of that. And they have to just say, all right, we respect it. Like, we'll get rid of it. Because I think that 20 core defense that they had on the side of Big Ding Energy would have been completely different without a Tracer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If it was a Tassadar, I mean, like any other hero, I wonder if that would have been a different end to that game.
Well, I mean, the thing is if it's a Tassadar, the Tassadar's likely going to be kind of near the Gul'dan. They're all going to be in the back line. So landing your ults would likely hit more people. Those Gravitons were almost always hitting Deckard, Gul'dan, and usually one other person. So that would have been the Tassadar as well. It's like this game definitely would have been a win if that Tracer was a Tassadar. Like I'm almost positive. It's just that chaos that Tracer brings, not only the damage and the comfortability coming from Mochrie. It's just that chaos. It gets everyone to turn around, all the ults lose value, and it's just too much impact. It's brutal. Guys, I do want to mention really quick, while we're still here, while we're waiting to set up this game number 3, I do want to point out a little bit. We are at 26% on our bits goal for today. We want to do our best because you guys got to remember, huge portion of these bits goes towards the prize pool, goes towards keeping this event running smooth, and it's just something that we really want to do. We want to keep running these events, so anything that you guys can donate would be awesome. Same thing with our donations. We're closing in on the goal. We're a little bit closer on that particular goal. I do want to talk about some of the people that have been donating some bits. I don't think we've gone over this yet.
Oh, no. There's a list.
There's a whole list. Let me start scrolling through this really quick. Shady Tree, 1,500 bits. That is awesome. Slexia, 69 bits. Then we also have Covert Muffin, $10. Right on. Appreciate that. Covert Muffin. I mean, think about that name.
The Covert Muffin is watching. Sorry, I'm a little fanboy.
That is a good name. That is real good. Sexy again with 69 bits. Poppin' Fresh with 100 bits. We've got Slexia again with 69 bits. We've got Walking Wumpus, 300 bits. That's also a crazy name. Angry Dwarf, right on, 40 bits. I've seen you in NGS. Keep up the good work. $40. And that is awesome. That got our goal. I mean, we're at 50% on that goal. Then we also have Darkshear with 500 bits. Walking Wumbus again with 300 bits. Fan of Kronos with 100 bits. Lexia 690 bits. Boreas 400 bits. Crushinator 500 bits. Vizbot 500 bits. Starting off that hype train. Blonde Duchess 400. Flare Gun 100. Fan of Kronos again 100. O'Malley Music 300. We've got Jules with 1,500 bits, right on. Ooh. We've got Plur Ninja 500 bits, Slexia 10 bits, Slexia 266 bits, which if you guys are curious about the math, that is 469s. Then we've got Fan of Kronos 200 bits. Then we keep going down, and we've got Reckless Ron 300 bits. Slexia with another 69 bits, and I believe we also have some new ones. Fan of Kronos with 300.
Don't forget, I want to shut this up because I'm staring at it. Thank you so much, Dax, for the 5,553 bits. That's a whole lot of bits. Looney Tune, thank you for the 1,000 as well. Thank you for the 300, Looney Tune. Wildfire Grenade, thank you for the 500. Looney Tune, thank you for another 300. Thank you, Slexia, for the 69. We know there's a lot of gifted subs. We missed some of those, but thank you all so much for supporting this event. It means the absolute world to us that we can bring you these wonderful games. Typically, we take a break in between all this, but you know what, Paradox? Production might need a break, but I think we need to run straight into this next game. So let me ask if the teams are ready, and we'll get going here into game number 3. This could be the last game, which I really hope it's not, because I predict this to be a 3-2. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll be 100% wrong with all of my CCL predictions. We'll have to see here. But personally, I want game 5. I want that 3-2 from one team. And it looks like I completely missed that one person slid onto the other team. So there we go. So teams are now correct. Let me get it ready from them once again.
Yeah, I do definitely want a game 5. I mean, that's the thing about casters, and you can ask any caster this, but I mean, there's the days that you want to like close it out early, where you've been casting like all day, and then you're like, okay, please no game 5. But 90% of the time, I think casters want those games. I think you guys want those games in the chat. I mean,
Yeah.
Dark Cheer, 500 bits, Anonymous Cheer, 100 bits, Looney Tune, 300 bits, Valera Wins, 100, Poorly Plays, 100. Ahoy Chinese Food. Again, I love these names. 300 bits. Poorly Plays, 300 bits. Anonymous Cheer, 400 bits. Guys, this is awesome. Thank you so much. We're at 54% out of our bits goal, 50% out of our donations goal. I mean, this is awesome. This is really, really great. But yeah, it's
For anyone wondering, because we talked about this prize pool and all of that, we've raised, because actually production's just reminding us, we've raised over the first 4 weeks, so it's not including tonight, obviously, we've raised $2,459.29 for the prize pool. And that's because of all of you. So thank you so much for donating towards the prize pool, for encouraging these players, for watching. Like, it's like we ramble about all this also because one player's in the bathroom, so maybe we should have done that 5-minute break, but it doesn't matter. We'll get them back here in just a second, and we can hang out with all of you, and thank you all so much. Anonymous Cheer, thank you for the 400 bits. Looney Tune, thank you for another 1,000 bits. We really do appreciate everything you guys are offering and supporting this chat with. So it blows me away. Like I always love to see the Heroes of Storm community come out and just give back. Like, I don't know, like the one thing that I always wanted in professional realm of Heroes of Storm was a way to give towards the prize pool. We've seen it in other esports events. Look at the Dota International. That's, you know, there's the battle pass you can buy. There's money you can donate that you can donate as well. So like, it's such a strong way to encourage the community and to also grow our grassroots scene. But Juked also helps us grow that grassroots scene. There's so many, we'll do a like plug here for our sponsor, but seriously, go check out that juke.gg, because I actually use it on the weekends, because the weekends are full of so much esports that I usually want to be like, all right, this weekend I want to watch Counter-Strike. So I can go on Juked and I can see, all right, cool. These are all the Counter-Strike events. I want to watch Dota. I want to watch League. I want to watch Heroes of the Storm. All of that can be found there and more. So go just check it out. It's a good place for all of your esports content. And you can also, you don't need to do any sort of multi-Twitch kind of stuff. You can go there and watch multiple streams. Yeah, it's all there. So it's very well integrated. I highly recommend it. Honest to God, like even if they weren't the sponsor, I'd still plug that place, because it's a very, very good website to see a lot of esports content. But both of the teams are saying that they are ready to go. It looks like, sorry, hold on. You know what? No, we're good. Okay. All right. I like, one of them said, are we good to go? Are we going? And I'm just like, I don't know, what do you want from me? But either way, we are here. We've rambled long enough. Let's go ahead and get into game number 3. We're going to be heading to Volskaya Foundry. And once again, heavy rotation base map, a lot of team fighting over these objective phases, much like our Infernal Shrines game. Do you think they're going to take what they learned from the team fights in Infernal Shrines and apply them to this Volskaya game? Or do you think that Big Ding Energy just takes a 3-0 here?
You know, I think they have to ban the Tracer. If they ban Tracer, though, you're giving Sylvanas, and Sylvanas on this map is very strong. Not only great on rotations, great DPS, can go physical or spell damage, like whatever you need to go. But level 4 Merc Queen buffs the damage of the turrets. Also allows you to get the turrets a little bit easier too. But you buff the damage of the turrets, which means you need to be able to take the turrets away. Again, it surprised me, Cassia ban, meaning that they're not going to ban the Ragnaros, or they're not going to ban Tracer. It kind of throws me off a little bit. It's like, I feel like that Tracer's been what's really messing with them. And we've talked about this before, like the ban changes are usually how you beat these teams. Banning Ragnaros and Tracer has beat Big Ding Energy for not safe for work from home every single time. Right? It's beat them every single time. So in this case, they're going to be able to get Ragnaros. Now, how good is Aullora Ragnaros? It's real good, but
how good is it? How good is it, Paradox?
Honestly, ever since they changed the ult, and the ult now has a 60-second cooldown with the Sulfurous Smash ult, it's really funny to watch, because she just snipes people. Like she'll throw it out. Normally with that ult, you try to hold off, right? You try to be like, oh well, I'll follow up a CC, by using my Sulfuras. She's like, no, I'm gonna just snipe people. She killed someone that she didn't even have vision on. She's like, they're probably backing right about there.
God, I was literally just about to bring that up because it was right actually during, week number 1 that they got this snipe on Ragnaros on Towers of Doom in bottom lane when they were Molten Core.
Yep.
They actually got a snipe with the shifting meteor, and then they used the Sulfur Smash to get a secondary kill a little bit after that. So I'm elated that we're gonna see Allura's Ragnaros because I think this is like Mochrie's Tracer is legendary, but Allura's Ragnaros is just as legendary as well, and we haven't seen it as much.
Too.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like we don't get to
watch.
I don't get to see a ton of Ragnaros in competitive play because I don't think people think of it as viable as it is, but Ragnaros is massively undervalued. Like Infernal Shrines, Volskaya Foundry, Tomb of the Spider Queen, all of these maps are so very strong for this hero. But either way, I'll get off of my Ragnaros train. Tassadar was grabbed as well. They grab a Jaina and a Nubarak. The Nubarak, I don't know. Because like with Jaina, I feel like you don't want your tank to split from them. You want the tank to step in with them. So like Garrosh with Warlord's Challenge or Varian with Taunt or ETC, I don't know. Like I feel like a Nubarak splits themselves too far away from the Jaina Deckard. How do you feel about this?
I mean, honestly, when you're picking a Nubarak, there's usually a lot of things going on. Like, one of the first things that I look at for Nubarak is like, what is my cocoon value, right? Like, do I get a lot of value out of cocoon?
Okay,
my next thing that I'm looking at is like, what can I abuse with like the spell armor? Like his W, you take the level 7 talent, and if you're going against damage over times, you have a really low cooldown on W, which gives you a huge amount of spell armor, a lot of survivability, summon some extra beetles, right? So that's like my second thing that I'm looking for. Tass does damage very quickly, but very small damage really quickly, meaning that you should have your W going every 4 seconds. Ragnaros, Meteor hits multiple times very quickly with low damage. You should have your shield going every 4 seconds. Since it lasts 3 seconds, that means you only have a 1 second downtime of your shield. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking at for Nubarak. Maybe, okay, Tass has been really scary with Archon. We cocoon Tass, we gain our shield infinitely, not infinitely, but you get a large uptime on your shield, and you're surprisingly tanky against teams like this. But with Greymane and Ana, I mean, that's looking pretty scary.
I wonder if the Greymane was a steal, because a Nubarak Greymane pair pretty well together.
It is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, like Jaina would get a lot of, yeah, exactly. Like you have a dive buddy, so I really like that. I just want to quickly note, and you might have covered this, and I might have missed it while we were organizing lobby and stuff, but we have hit our cash total for tonight. So to whomever got that last little bit in there, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Fancy, thank you for the 1,500, and Looney Tune, thank you for the 1,000. Seriously, we are closing in. Jaeger Not Mine, I believe is the name. It was a $50 tip. So thank you so much. And also thank you for production in my headphones telling me that. But also to note, we are at 75% of the bits for the players. So just seriously, thank you all so much for this. But Dahaka going to be coming out here with an Orphea. And now I've talked about this in previous weeks. I'm not a fan of Dahaka on this map. Like, I think Brushstock is so hindered, especially on Control Point B. Where do you Brushstock in on Control Point B? The only place you can do it is right by the biotic emitter. That doesn't give you sort of any advantage unless you're fighting around the biotic emitter. So Dahaka can be strong. I'm not sold on this. I don't know about you, Paradox. Is there something I'm missing here with this Dahaka pick?
No, you're kind of right. I mean, there is definitely a lot of downsides as far as your trait goes, but I know Liam and how he plays Dahaka, and he doesn't really care that much about his global.
Okay.
He's more just going to be using it because you can eat a ridiculous amount of damage, charge in their team, and you'll gain all of that life back. That's how he plays Dahaka.
That's fair.
He just dives right in their team, and he takes you pretty much have to kill Dahaka like 3 times. Yeah.
He takes like Hero Stalker, and he takes all of those talents that just build essence. And you're right, I do forget that is the playstyle. It's just seeing it on Volskaya, my mind instantly goes just like, well, where's your flank value?
Exactly. I do kind of agree with you though. Like, if you're gonna play that Dahaka, play it on Cursed. You were just there.
Yes.
Why'd you pick Alarak? Pick Dahaka. If you like doing that style of Dahaka and you feel like that's what's necessary, pick Dahaka on that map. That's an amazing map for Dahaka. So I agree with you. Even with the playstyle that he goes, I don't think it's the best pick on this map, but it might be the pick that he thinks is necessary.
That's fair.
We do also see a Blaze main tank. I love Blaze main tank, but he does certainly have his downsides. So you need to keep those in mind. He really struggles against displacement. So even though I like Deckard going more of the stay a while ult, Aullora NATO can pretty much get Blaze into a place that he can't recover from, because you can just send him off in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't have a jump or anything. So right after his push goes out, or his charge goes out, you can send him wherever you want to, and he can't recover. So that's one of the things about that. But with that being said, I will introduce the left side, Lil Rubies. Blue team, we have Liam playing, on his Vespertine account, playing Dahaka. We've got Trikslyr on Anubarak, Lakefu on Deckard, Kagirii on Jaina, and Lashes on Orphea.
And on the right-hand side, up 2 in our best of 5 series, we have Big Ding Energy trying to close this out in a 3-0 fashion. Mochrie on the Tassadar, AliciaWins on the Ana, Vipey on the Blaze, Jazzalene's going to be on the Greymane, and Aullora on her Ragnaros. Let's see what happens here for mid lane. And it is going to be some of the first pickups here when it comes to our talents. Static Charge for the Tassadar. I have been... I've seen people saying, oh, W build Psystorm Infusion, that's really good. I personally, and this is just me, Q build Tassadar is so strong. It's so insanely strong.
Here's the thing. I actually have done, so this is one of those things. No one can agree on the Tas build anymore. Honestly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of replays of different skill levels with Tassadar because I'm honestly curious. And I do not think that the mana talent at 1 is worth it, even in W build. You can go Q build and never run out of mana. And I'm like, that to me tells me immediately that you don't need to take a mana talent if you can go a different talent and never run out of mana. If you're grabbing the globes in every lane, you do not run out of mana. So that's for me, I just, even in W build, I think you should take that Static Charge at 1. And at level 7, there's a lot of overlap with those. For the way most people play, they throw down a W, they immediately cast Q, and there's a lot of overlap on that level 7 that gives them. So even in W build, I actually don't take a lot of W talents. And you're like, well, is that even W build anymore? Still take the level 16 W talent because it's really good. But yeah, honestly, Tassadar's builds are, I definitely want to say they're still up in the air on what you can go. I think full Q build is very, very strong, but I do think that level 16 W talent is really strong too. So there's definitely a lot you can do with it. But yeah, overall, I do think Static Charge at 1 is great. Even if you never complete the talent,
it's still you're increasing your damage. You're scaling with your level, so you get that base scale per level, and then you're also scaling it per the damage you're doing within every single team fight. So in my mind, that's just double scaling. I'm sure it comes out to a different fraction, and someone's done that math, but we do caster math here, and we just say general things. As it will be 4 talents here first for the members of Big Ding Energy, but they're not too far behind. The experience is fairly close as they try to find these Jet Propulsions, and unfortunately, Vipey's not able to connect on a few of them. The one thing that I'm curious about here is there's a lot of damage, but there's no front line outside of the Blaze in a sense. Ragnaros does have good sustain if people kind of crowd around them. I've seen it be a little bit difficult to kill Rags as Mochrie might get rotated on here. I don't think they get out of this top lane. No dimensional shift. They throw out a Q because they're like, at least let me scale that up, but they get the trade into the Anubra, excuse me, and at least it's going to be 1-up on kills and no experience deficit going to either side.
Yeah, honestly, that's the best thing that you can do. If you know that someone's gonna die, your best bet is, what can we get? Can we trade a kill? And if we can't trade a kill, what else can we get? Can we steal a camp? Can we get soak in a lane that they're not in? What can we do? And in this case, they're like, oh, we can just trade a kill. And even for both teams, yes, there is a little bit of an experience lead on the side of Lil Rubies, but it's a small enough lead, it'll be diminished in just a couple waves, so it's not really that big of a deal. Camps being picked up by both sides as far as siege camps. Great camps to pick up right before this objective. And we also see Lakefu just already setting up on this objective. And again, watching Lakefu's Deckard is always solid. She's setting up the objective by getting those potions out, and she's positioning them all over in case you want to fight in the middle of the objective or in case you're on the way back to your base, so that in case someone wants to kind of be getting out of the fight, they can still be getting healed.
Let's get into the comms of Big Ding Energy because they're the ones who need to posture into this enemy team.
Going around. Turret? 10 seconds
Careful
on
bottom.
turret.
We don't have eyes on any of them. They're gonna rotate onto you because they're not on the point.
Turret.
Go get it. You can rotate aggro and Dakistan. Okay, it's whatever. You guys are already on the way. We just grab turret and then we can test objective hard after you get turret.
Hard. Yeah, it's just mage on here right now. It's just Jaina. Deckard. Trying to force them off of it.
Watch out, you got a noob coming in. Alright, let's go. Pressure. Force the noob to E out of here. That's good. Alright, we win it from now on.
Get that turret down.
Killing their turret.
Back up, Jess. Care. That's the Haka Z.
There's the Haka.
Turtle Aura, drop our Turtle Aura.
Trying to get out of here. I'm licked. Nice heals. I get out of here. Can I get out of here? Cutting out.
Shit!
There's slow to fire.
I got Orphea. Oh gosh.
I'm getting in the tower.
Oh, just got her.
Sheamus on the back.
I'm just gonna actually step on it at this point.
I'm gonna tap and I'm coming back then.
Okay, cool. We actually didn't lose it. Holy shit.
Ooh, you have me alive forever.
Really, really well played. The communication from them, and you heard them right at the end. I'm surprised, like, oh my god, the sigh of relief. We didn't lose it. 98% on the side of Little Rubies, but can Big Ding Energy hold this over for the last little bit of 75 that they need as they get the jump propulsion? That's going to be the shock ray out as well, and they find the big burst onto a Nubrak. Greymane jives in. Vesper trying to live through a lot of this. You were talking about how they just walk into the enemy team, but they've also got potions. Tongue Drag will connect onto Jazzy, but there's a jump propulsion from Vipey to slow things down. They find the kill onto Jaina, and that's going to be Vipey trying to get out of here after they use the burrow, and they should be able to get behind the front gate. That's going to be 2 for none, and the members of Big Ding Energy look like they might be able to grab the first objective here, Paradox.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is a lot of this on the side of Little Rubies, a lot of their comp comes online at level 10, right? For Dahaka, you need to get your ult, or you just won't be able to do what you want to do on them. At the same time, we need that cocoon. And so they need to have those things. They did play that, I mean, really well at the start of that objective, but those huge stuns coming out from Vipey are just immediately setting up a favorable fight, and it's taking out Trikslyr before he can even react to anything. The one bush on this map was used to get Liam into this fight, and this protector is fighting over a healing camp at the moment, which is not what you normally see on this. This is really crazy.
No. Lakefu.
Huge push. I mean, Lakefu should be okay here. She gets a lot of extra healing. We see Liam in the back just trying to take out Aullora, but he's going to use a lot trying to take her out. He did go Contagion here and tried to fire off the Contagion to grab that kill, so he didn't actually go the extra health bar.
Yeah, no adaptation. They almost landed that skill shot onto them and found the kill, but not the case. And Aullora is going to be able to back off and Hearth back and get back full. But you were noting, they're fighting over the biotic emitter with this Trikslyr protector. Typical Trikslyr protectors on Volskaya Foundry siege a little bit into the mid lane front gate, and then they rotate into top lane and immediately take the top tower that you saw the rocket glove go onto, so that way they can snipe the well for a control point B. But the web rat comes out from Trikslyr, a lot of damage onto Vipey, who's trying to back up. Jazzy jumps in just to be able to clear out that out. That's going to be Eternal Feast from the Orphea. Curse Bullet onto Trikslyr. There's going to be the Orphea kill. Lakefu is getting dove on by the Rag in the backline as Jet Propulsion comes out from Blaze, and Nubrak's able to burrow charge back. So they get the 1 kill onto the Orphea. They don't lose anyone themselves, but it's 2 to 5 in kills. And I'll be honest here, Paradox, I'm surprised that the experience deficit isn't larger.
Yeah, it's really close. I mean, both of these teams are keeping up in experience, and even down 3 kills and an objective, they're pretty even. And that's a sign of a team that really knows how to macro well. You don't really need to worry about early kills. I mean, we've talked about the value of early kills. These pre-level 10 kills are worth like the same or less than a wave of experience. We do see Contagion going out, ended up getting missed, and a ton of damage goes out on both Trikslyr and Liam. Heal camp goes out, Trikslyr stays alive, but Liam will likely get taken out here. Actually gets hit by a bunch of potions. They are able to take down Vipey. Trikslyr living on like 10 health. A nice Dorito lands, able to take Aullora and stun her. Liam might actually go in. We do see that 10 health Nubrak get taken out, and now Aullora is she's out. But in this case, is he gonna be able to get a tongue, take anyone back with him? Nope, he gets slept. Great sleep from Alicia, able to hold that off for their team. And again, I mean, still relatively even on experience, even still being down 3 kills and that first objective. Structures are still pretty even too. I mean, only a couple turrets, really actually only 1 turret ahead on the side of red team. But all the turrets are still getting rather low, so they could really just even that out whenever they want to.
Do you know, I don't know if I've seen this yet. I don't know if I've seen a nano-boosted Tassadar in Archon form, because I'm looking at the heroics and I'm like, huh, that looks real freaking scary. Like,
It's weird, right? I mean, Nano Boost only increases your spell damage, so it's like it's not going to affect Archon too much.
Gives you cooldown reduction though too, does it not?
Yeah, it's what I mean is like spell damage, cooldown, all spell.
Oh yeah. Oh my God! It won't matter right there.
I was worried. I was like, oh man, bunkers. He's gonna be able to hop in that bunker, but bunker died right as he was trying to hop in it, so it's like couldn't even use that. But yeah, I mean, Nano Boost, I think that's still gonna be the best nano target. I said if combustion was gonna come out, maybe you nano the combustion,
yeah.
but we have bunker, so you don't really want to. I mean, no point in nanoing the blaze unless you just want an extra stun. You could nano the rag just for the cooldown reduction on Q, because if you go Q build, which in this particular case, Aullora is going Q build, it will melt front lines, and being able to land more Qs really makes you hard to kill. So yeah, I mean, not the best nano targets in general. I would imagine it's still probably going to go to the task, even though he is Archon. Because you can nano a black hole and you pretty much just wipe a team. But otherwise, I mean, this is interesting. We have Liam just kind of showing up down here, but he also is getting chased down a little bit. Decent wall could actually make a good play here. The wall came out just a teeny bit late because those conveyor belts is kind of hard to predict. And now we've got a little bit of an awkward fight happening. A pull right into the Devouring or the Eternal Feast. And now they're just continuing to push forward. They did end up cocooning the tank. And now Mochrie's going to be taken out as well. The heal camp's keeping everyone topped off on the side of Lil Rubies. And now Vipey's out of position. He can't escape. And that's what I was talking about. If you surround Blaze, he has no way to get out. Anubarak presses E. ETC presses Q. Murden presses E. Tyrael presses Q. You see a pattern there? Most of the tanks can get out of a situation like that, but Blaze is stuck. I love Blaze main tank, but it's certainly a major weakness of Blaze main tank, because if you can surround him at any point with any sort of displacement or just a cocoon and then surround them, he's done. You have to be able to get him out of that cocoon quickly.
There's no jet propulsion through the enemy member. It's just into him. That's about it. You might buy a little bit of time. I gotta say, like, I wish we could go back and watch that again, because there was so many little factors that happened there. Because there was a tongue drag onto Greymane that pulled them and kept them in the Eternal Feast that secured that kill. Immediately after that, there was a isolation thrown onto Mochrie in Archon form. So yeah, they were in Archon form, but all they could do was auto attack, and they had their vision limited as well. So it was just so well played. And you know, I was sitting here saying like, oh, you know, my woes and disagreements with Dahaka, but you know what? I cast a curse myself, and I'm honestly halfway through this game, I'm kind of into this Dahaka, even though it doesn't have the brush stock value as you typically want from a Dahaka. It is getting that push face value. Tongue drags have been massively helpful in a lot of these team fights, and isolation has secured them a kill. So overall, this Dahaka is working out very well, but Rag is going to jump into the Molten Core form, going to get a swipe right there. Doesn't stun out the Punisher, but they realize, you know what? Allora's burned this. Let's rotate down. Sometimes teams go from mid lane for it, but I wonder if they just go all the way to bottom and try and open that up for control point B. Excuse me, C. That'll be immediately or a few minutes after this Trikslyr Protector.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the best bet here. I mean, these fights are going rather long, so the value of those fountains is pretty large. So in this case, I do think it's the best bet to see if you can't grab that fountain on the opposing team, but everyone's here to defend, everyone's ready, and I mean, this fight could definitely go in the favor of Big Thing Energy, even through this Protector. I mean, Liam already takes a huge amount of his health. We have a great sleep going out, but look at the health on the side of Lil Rubies. They are all rather low, and the potions can only come out so fast when there's no potions already from this setup. And I mean, Vipey's taking a ton of damage at the same time. Vipey gets taken out, Trikslyr gets taken out, ton of damage on the Kagirii. I mean, that Archon into that laser was enough to wipe out their team. So that was brutal. 2 people got dropped, but the fountain is still up.
But here's the thing. I heard the nano boost go off. I also want to point out thermal lands for Tazadar at level 16. Like, I know we were talking about different 16s, but when it comes to Q build, this is my favorite just because of the fact that Shock Ray deals an additional 8%. This is an additional 8% of the maximum health as damage for the first hero it hits. Trikslyr, I bet the overkill for Trikslyr is just something astronomical, because I think it hit that Anubarak first, and that just, in an Archon form that's also nano boosted, oof, that was a very good chase in favor of Big Ding Energy.
Wait, was the, I don't know if the Archon was nano boosted. I think the Rag was nano boosted.
Was it nano?
He just popped Archon for the spell armor reduction, right?
I heard the nano boost go out, and I was looking at Tassadar, and I was like, there's so much blue and glow. I don't know. I think it's on them, though. But okay, so even then, they didn't have mana boost, but either way, they're going to invade onto this camp. There's a Curse Bolt. Greymane dives in. Eternal Feast out from the Orpheus. Stay a while and listen from Decker Kane as well. They're going to find the Greymane. Bunker comes out as well, but that's going to be immediately burned down. Lakefu and friends are going to get out of there. There's the mana boost again. This time it's on Aullora, who's going to be chasing in, or at least this time I get it correct, and it's on Aullora. Kagirii goes down. Mochrie's going to get traded out. This is such a bloodbath over this camp, and it's currently 2 for 2. Vipey's gonna just jet propulsion in as Allure's just trying to get them a little extra damage in there as they're also trying to back off away from this. Tongue drag onto AliciaWins, and I think that's gonna be the end of it for Ana right there. 2 for 3. Great back and forth, but I think in the end, no one really got anything from that objective outside of some experience and a big old team fight.
Yeah, I mean, everyone used the turrets that they got from that camp. So it's like there was no real benefit to that other than like the 2 for 3 trade. And overall, that didn't make a huge experience swing for either team. 19s and just a sliver for both teams. So nothing too crazy. If you guys are unfamiliar with how this Dahaka runs, if you haven't seen it before, what it does is you're taking a lot of W talents, and your W is this swarm that goes around you, and you're going to be giving yourself spell armor, increasing the duration. You're going to be lowering the cooldown of it for the longer you're hitting the enemies. You're going to be gaining your essence, which you can use to gain your health back. At the same time as you're going to be you're going to be slowing the enemies. So all of that's happening at the same time, and you can almost keep your W going forever. So if you don't die very early on the fight, and if your damage dies, like if Tass dies, or if Greymane dies, and Dahaka is still up, he can pretty much just fight the rest of the team without dying. So you got to be very careful about that. He needs to get dropped rather quickly.
Well, let's go ahead and get into the comms of Lil Rubies because they're already on the point. Let's see what they're planning to do.
I have to clear this top out though, so just don't fight. They're missing still.
Yep. Is there any turret about to be
They're
up?
probably on their turret, yeah.
That's fine. Let's get this
That's
99%.
fine, I'm gonna clear this out, then I'm gonna back, then I'm gonna ZN.
Okay. You got turret?
Alright, I'm backing. I'll.
You guys okay?
They're slowed down.
Just disengage if they come. Can we actually go to health pack right now?
Yeah, let's go.
That'll be good.
Everyone rotate.
Actually, do a turret first. Yeah. Then health pack. If they fight, I'll ZN.
Okay, support camp.
It's possible they come, but right now they have one on.
Alright, you guys go do it. I'll position for vision.
Alright, they're pushing bot. We'll have camps though.
Okay, I'm
let's head
going
bottom.
to Archon. Once I see it, I'm going to.
I'm just waiting for the pre-tap right before the fight.
I'm pulling back a bit. Alicia, get out of here.
And I'm tapping and I'm coming back in. Looking pressure. Got a force wall coming in. At the scroll from Lakefu.
I'm rooted on
Can I
the
get a nano? I'll go in, Alicia.
Falling grenade. Trixlyr's low. I'm cocooned on the side.
Oh god, I'm silenced and I'm in a bad place.
Right on the conveyor belt. You'll always get wrecked. I did it too, but I don't know. We just all did it. Not trying to blame anybody.
I got like rooted in the grouping and it pulled me around.
Yeah, no,
We jumped around a little bit on you all, and in case you didn't catch it, we swapped from Lil Rubies to Big Ding Energy right at the end because I wanted to see what both sides were saying, and they end up getting caught up. That's going to be 4 members going down, but they do get the Anubrak on the left-hand side. All that's left is Aullora, who's doing their best to live through all of this damage, and they'll play around this fort, but Dahaka's waiting for them to pass by. Is there a tongue drag? Oh god, this is back and forth paradox. But overall, what do you think of those comms? Back and forth. Honestly, I think like Lil Rubies really played that well.
Yeah, I mean, Lil Rubies, they had that out like a chess player, right? They looked 10 steps forward, 10 turns forward. They were like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to get the turret, and if they're going to engage, I'll be there. Then we're going to go for the heal camp. If they engage, I'll be there. And if they don't engage, this is what's going to happen. If they do engage, we're going to wait for Archon, then we're going to use Cocoon. If this happens, we're going to do this and then this. If this happens, like they thought everything out again like 10 turns out, and that's I mean that's what you're looking for in a strategic comms like that. Is you're always looking to think a little bit further ahead than the opposing team, so you can always kind of approach that way. And that was very solid as far as comms go. That's exactly what you want to see. They're playing this out safe because they don't have a Nubrock. They're just going for quick keep, grabbing a fort, and then heading up, possibly getting another fort, giving them a large map advantage. But remember what we saw. Level 20s, the game can go in any direction with both teams level 20, so Big Ding Energy can still take this at any point. But if they keep playing out these fights exactly how they're playing it out, they should be able to close out this game.
I actually just want to point out, what's your thoughts on Submerge at level 20 for Ragnaros? Because it does kind of buy them a little bit of time in some of this burst situations, especially with the Orphea Jaina double mage situation here. But like, do you think that heroic difficulty for the cooldown reduction on the Molten Core form would be more worthwhile, or even double Lava Wave, or do you just think the Submerge, being able to kind of get yourself out of fight for 3 seconds and also regain some health, might be a little bit more viable in this map?
I mean, generally Submerge is a good talent, but it's usually used to counter something specific. And if you're on like really low ping, you can actually submerge a cocoon. So they throw a cocoon, you can submerge it, and then you don't get cocoons, and then you can immediately turn off Submerge, and you're in a really good position. I don't see anything particular on the enemy team that can do that, other than maybe you start seeing the windup of Stay a While. You submerge until Stay a While is turned off, and then you hop back out so you don't get silenced or blinded. I think that's definitely a potential that you could go into. But overall, I don't know. I like the upgraded Lava Wave because in these like stalemate fights, you could apply a lot of threat. Because the one issue right now is, look, the Haka is pressuring bot lane, and now you're going to have to deal with that. Double Lava Wave could deal with that. Now she can only use the one Lava Wave to deal with that. She doesn't have it for a team fight now. And so that is kind of the downside about picking that, is you really lose a lot of potential there. But, I mean, she's the Rag main, so she knows what she's doing.
Brush Talk from the Dahaka brings him in. There's the Eternal Feast. Mochrie pops the Twilight Archon, but that immediately gets shut down. Stay a while and listen catches 4 members, and that's going to be a Greymane taking flight. They find the kill onto Ana as well. Vipey just jumping back in the bunkers. Maybe I can get out of here, but nah, you're going down there, bud. And this is exactly what you talked about earlier. They got surrounded. If you try and press E in that situation, you're just going to connect onto the first hero in front of you or any of the heroes around you. Stun them, cool, but then you still die. But with 4 members down and all 5 up on the side of Lil Rubies, they're gonna step to core. And Paradox, this isn't a clean 3-0. We're gonna be heading to a game number 4 definitely here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Rag can do some work here, but unfortunately, I don't think that he's going to be able to out-damage the healing that Deckard's going to be able to bring out. Especially, I mean, Lakefu's on this Deckard, just throwing out as many potions as possible. There's just no way. And this is really bringing back up this draft. They banned Tracer, and now they have a really good shot. I mean, they won this game, and they got Deckard. So it's like, they are now kind of more in control of this, and they played this out so well, and their comms were so clear. They knew exactly what they wanted at the start of every single fight, and I'm very excited that we get to go to a game 4. I mean, this is really what we want here, and it's going to be a ton of fun. And speaking of getting close to a game 4, we are 84 out of 100%, just saying, on the bits. 113% on the donations, so that is awesome. But 84% out of 100%, I mean, that's only a B, right? That's not even a B+. Like, that's closing in on a B- territory. If you're in Europe, that's a C, right? Am I wrong on that?
Just raw like that. Really quickly, John Perry for the $13.37. Nice. Selexia, thank you for the 69. Crushionaire, thank you for the 1,500 bits. But while we get ready for our map number 4, we're gonna take a quick little break. We're gonna get ourselves a little extra water. We're gonna stretch our legs, and we'll be back with our next map in our best of 5 series. We'll see, will Lil Rubies be able to start the reverse sweep, or does Big Ding Energy shut things down in game number 4? See you very soon. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Season 2, Week 5, Community Clash League by Heroes Hearth. We are on to game number 4, with Big Ding Energy up 2-1 against Lil Rubies, and it is going to be a close one. But with that, who do you have there, Baha?
I've actually got the best caster in North America, Bandit Gaming. Come up here, bud. Say hello to everyone. What is your prediction for tonight's matchup? I have a treat or two for him, and he just doesn't care all of a sudden. There we go. He just wants the treat. That's it. That's it. I'm trying to get predictions out of him. He's just like, feed me, and I'm going to go back and lay down. But either way...
Isn't that the famous outlaw? Guys, that is the famous outlaw, the infamous outlaw Bandit. That is crazy that is a sentient dog right there that is just sitting there. I mean, hey, fun fact about the word outlaw. Did you guys know that the word outlaw actually means that you are outside the protection of the law? So It's not necessarily that you're like out, like whatever, but it's that you've done something so bad that if someone wanted to just hurt you, steal from you, do whatever, the police will not help you. So being an outlaw means that you are outside the law. Anyways, that is moving on from that. What map are we going to?
Anyway, just that hard transition. Let's go. We're in Towers of Doom. We are actually in Towers of Doom. Both teams that have actually said they're ready to go, so I'm going to give them a going that is not properly capitalized. I forgot to set myself to referee. Whoopsie, but either way, we won't need that anyways. Let's go ahead and get on into game number 4. We head to Towers of Doom. For anyone that's sitting at home and is just like, wait a minute, Bahamut, Paradox, Bandit, how did we get to Towers of Doom? Why is it 1-2? Let me get you caught up here. Dragonshire, Tomb of Spider Queen were banned up by the members of Big Ding Energy. Little Rubies banned out Sky Temple and Hanamura. First map was Infernal Shrines, chosen by Little Rubies. They lost that. The losing team can either choose first pick or map pick. They chose first pick on the side of Little Rubies. We went to Cursed Hollow for game number 2. Cursed Hollow was won by Big Ding Energy as well. The members of Little Rubies opted for first pick in game number 3. We went to Volskaya Foundry. That was a win for the members of Little Rubies. And so now, game number 4, Towers of Doom. First pick goes over to the side of Big Ding Energy, map pick coming out from Little Rubies. And I want to point this out. In a stat that I was actually reading in their own chat, they were saying that they think, and they statistically are saying that Towers is their best map and they have the highest win rate on it. So this is their comfort pick. They want to take us to a game 5. So they're taking us to a map that they know they're confident and have won many previous weeks on. Also, shout out to everyone in chat. We hit our bounty on both cash and bits. Thank you all very much. I showed Bandit. Maybe we'll bring Bandit back again. Maybe if we go to a game 5, we'll bring him back. But either way, we have all of our bans through. Pretty much what we expect. And a Rhaegar first pick on the right-hand side. Do you think this is going to be an all-in dive composition on the side of Big Ding Energy like game number 1? Or is this going to be a little bit more control?
Here's the thing, right? Look what's still up. Rag is still up. They just got Rhaegar. I mean, they gave a lot up just to get this map. I'd imagine Lakefu needs to pick something that can counter that a little bit better. I mean, we do have the Zul, great pick for this map. Liam Zul is very good. We also have that ETP picked early, which has been working for Trikslyr. Lakefu could go with really anything here. I'd imagine Stukov to push everyone away whenever they get that Bloodlust. But we could see something a little bit different. We saw this matchup before. Towers of Doom, Lil Rubies versus Big Ding Energy. Aullora got Ragnaros, and she was sniping Lil Rubies on this map. Now, there has been a role swap since then, and so this is putting Lil Rubies a little bit closer to winning this, and this is their best map outside of that 1 week. We also have Sylvan. I mean, Big Ding Energy is getting everything they want right now. If they get a Tassadar here, they literally got everything that they wanted.
Like, I kind of feel like this is a Diablo ban.
You can ban Diablo. I mean, Vipey's Diablo has been really good.
That's why.
This is like Garrosh. I mean, he's been playing a lot of really strong tanks. So, I mean, this is it's a tricky one. But this seems pretty straightforward. Mochrie's gonna pick Tass, and Vipey's gonna pick Diablo, right?
With this competition, I would agree with you. Absolutely.
I don't see any way around it. On the other side, they need a good answer to that. They don't have Deckard to cancel the Bloodlust. Like, they need a good answer. I mean, what do you think Little Rubies needs right now?
Little Rubies, I'd like them to go for something like an Ana, if because Lakefu plays Ana, does she not? Am I forgetting this? Because I swore in CCL Season 1 she played Ana, and Biotic Grenade would be a really good tool to throw that out as the Bloodlust comes out. Even then, you know what I was considering? Not only is Diablo good, Garrosh is wonderful here. ETC tries to power slide in, throw them away. You now have an ETC very far from their team. They don't have power slide. So you can maybe just capitalize onto that. Face melt might push them away, but we'll have to see. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Garrosh would work with this composition on the side of Big Ding Energy, but on the left, they still go for the Orphea and Greymane, still holding out on their healer, really waiting to see what Lakefu wants to grab here towards the end. But Orphea's strong. I mean, the last game, as long as they can lock someone down, they can really, really get a lot of value from Eternal Feast, and Greymane can clean things up. But it is going to be a Zarya, and they'll round things out. They need a main tank. If it's Zarya, okay, so walk the Garrosh. Yeah, there it is. I was like, you could still go Diablo, but the speed barrier on Garrosh is just too choice.
Speed barrier is too good. I'm afraid she'll probably pick Anduin here just to counter that. I'm not a big fan of Anduin with this comp, but
what about?
I mean, it does work.
What about Malfurion with like Strangling Vines or something?
That could work too. I mean, even without Strangling Vines, it's still a pretty good option. Keeps your team topped off. But I feel like Lucio. So you can boop away the Garrosh, keeping your team up. You can give movement speed to your entire team, and you can ult to try to counter the combos, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And you can ult to counter, I mean, a decent chunk of the Bloodlust, and you can keep your team moving fast enough to get away from Bloodlust. That's definitely a risky choice because Garrosh Zarya is actually a pretty good option into Lucio because you can pop that unstoppable move in and then immediately kill Lucio. So that's one of the downsides, is that you kind of are picking into one of your counters. However, a good ult can really nullify that Bloodlust, or at least mitigate it, and give your Zul more time to start getting that extra attack speed, giving your Greymane more time to set up, giving Orphea more time, and then also giving your ETC, again, more time to maybe reposition for a Mosh. So overall, I mean, I do think this could be a potential for either team, really. I think this could go either way.
I agree. Like, I think this is such well-rounded comps on both sides. It doesn't seem like one is really too dominant over the other. I want to quickly highlight before we get into this game, Dax, thank you for the 5,550 bits once again. Thank you so much for that large chunk. But we are here in game number 4. What could be our final game? What could be the game that sets up our game number 5? We'll have to see on the left-hand side. Lil Rubies wants that game number 5. Lakefu on the Lucio. Lashes is going to be on the Orphea, not Kagirii on the Greymane. Trikslyr on the ETC, and Zul will be played by Vesper.
On the right side, we have Big Ding Energy, BDE for short. Mochrie is on Zarya. Alicia is on Rhaegar. Jazzy is on Sylvanas. Aullora on Ragnaros. And Vipey on Garrosh. We've seen the same comp a few weeks ago. We saw that extra movement speed from Zarya, speeding up Garrosh so that he could get those throws, stuns. And we've seen that the taunt followed up by the Ragnaros Sulfurous Smash was leading to kills left and right, which means Lil Rubies has played against this comp, so they know how it plays, but the real challenge is, do they know how to counter it now? They know what they're going to see. We know what we're going to see, but do they know how to play against it? And they did pick a pretty cool comp for this. A decent amount of siege damage, a great double soaker. This could certainly lead them to win this game as far as macro goes, but these team fights is what I'm really worried about.
I want to point out, Shade was actually grabbed by the Zul at level 1. Vipey's going to get dove on right there. They're trying to get an initial kill. The Root's going to come out as well. Lucio is going to find the Boopio, and that's going to be a first blood over to the side of Lil Rubies. Judge me. Shame me. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is brutal. Here's the thing, too. I mean, both these teams immediately going for camps. I do like that Triksly's kind of just maybe stalling it out a little bit, deciding if he wants to go for an invade since they didn't have to worry about the opposing Garrosh. But at the same time, they could really go with just about anything. Also, Mochrie's just trying to get a little bit of charge right there, but trying to go for that charge actually ends up taking him out. It's a risky play to do that, but it usually pays off. Because you can walk up, take 2 tower shots, press your W as they're flying towards you, and guess what? You're at 50% charge, meaning that you do a significant more amount of damage, allowing you to play a little bit more aggressive on structures, take down camps a little bit faster. Just a really valuable tool. The downside is when that happens, You step up and you get dropped because the opposing team is watching. They're rotating correctly and they're watching out for it. I think he was just mostly expecting to see the Zul alone, not expecting to see the whole team rotate.
The on the note of the Zul, it looks like they're going to be going into double rotations and they're going to hold over this bottom lane, or at least try and siege into this bottom lane as much as they can. The sapper camp was already cleared out before they could force that into the front wall. And the big reason why, you know, they hover into bottom lane more so than doing this double rotation from mid to bottom, and you often have the solo laners doing top to mid, is because holding that bottom lane gives you map advantage during some of these objective phases. As Triksly's going to get the power slide out, they'll be just fine. But the other thing too is it gets you an extra shot. So you have an extra shot into the enemy core. You have map pressure in your favor because now you can feed sappers in through that lane, get extra shots onto the core, but it makes rotations onto these objective phases more difficult. Let's say the right-hand tower did go down. Rotating onto this objective phase means you have to go through the sapper camp area or directly down through the middle of the map. You can't rotate past the tower because one, you'll show until you'll take free damage, and no one really wants to do that in Heroes of the Storm. Right now, though, looks like it's going to be... Oh, is this the play that I've seen teams go for here and there? No. Okay, they're just going to trade out left and right in the top, and they're going to try and go for this bottom as a team. I've been seeing some teams, they basically feign that they're going to grab this bottom one, and then they rotate 4 members towards the solo lane side where Aullora would have been, and they get a kill, and then they get the objective, and they get both of them. But not the case. Everyone's going to be down here except for Zul fighting over this objective. Actually, Alicia gets it for free. So that's
giving it, yeah.
Yeah.
So generally when I see teams do that is when the opposing team has a global, because what'll happen is like the team with the global usually wins their objective and then also the bottom objective. But what you normally see when teams are, whoa, Kagirii caught outside. I mean, that is a great setup as far as Big Ding energy. They knew exactly where to stay. But yeah, if the enemy team has a global, you know they're going to have the advantage on that first objective. So instead, you try to kill them alone. Because you know they're going to be alone right there on one of the top left or right objectives, depending on the team. So you send your whole 4-man to immediately kill theirs, grab that, and then also grab your safe point, and then you can still win 2-0 against the team with the global, just because it's a little predictable how teams with globals are going to run.
If no one knew, one of the sappers was up in the air because Garrosh used the into the fray. If you didn't know, you can into the fray the sappers and actually throw them in towards the... You can throw them further in, so I've actually seen Garrosh just throw the sappers into the quote-unquote death zone, which, you know, that turns them into the actual missile damage into the core. So it's little things like that. If you're wondering why all of a sudden a sapper is up in there, you can actually use your abilities to throw them, and that actually got them a little bit more pressure. I want to note as well, we are 4 minutes into this game, roughly 5 minutes in the game. Sulfure's Hungers is already done. That's a very quick stacking on Aulora's Sulfure's smash.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, Sulfure's Hungers is one of those that it is generally stacked quickly, but it's not normally stacked this quickly. So
right.
It's a great option. The faster you get it done, the better, because it is just flat damage. So flat damage doesn't scale, and so getting the flat damage done earlier than later is always good. In this case, she's got that flat damage done very, very early. In this case, I mean, ETC also got dropped down in the bottom lane, which is going to be rough. Sylvanas is already turning off the structure. I mean, controlling bottom lane on this map is huge, and it's looking like they're already going to control this bottom lane, and at the same time, Rag is already channeling this. I mean, so much is going in favor of Big Ding energy at the start of this map, and we haven't really gotten going.
Yeah, I was looking, I was like, maybe we'll get in comms for the next one, then ETC goes down and they're just controlling. So I'm like, the comms are going to be them screaming that they're winning. So we'll hold off on those for a little bit. It is, I misspoke earlier, not Sulfure's Smash, Sulfure's Hungers, or excuse me, Impala Sulfure's. But this is also going to be Sulfure's Smash as the heroic pickup. So we are going to potentially see those snipes as we did see in previous weeks from Aullora on this Ragnaros, on this map specifically. Toss from Garrosh. Triksly's going to be the target. Warlord's challenge as well, which forces them to attack, which means that they do get the autos out from the structure. That's also going to be a bloodlust from AliciaWins. Vipey so very low, gonna get a little bit of healing. Trikslyr and friends forcing them out. Toss from Garrosh gets Mochrie out of there. They have the speed barrier as well, and it looks like they should be able to disengage from this. Lucio trying to chase in with the reverse amp, but I don't think it'll be enough damage.
Nope, and I think honestly, like, we was just going for the slow there. Like maybe my team gets up there in time, but if not, we'll just clear up bottom lane. And now they're back on even playing field, down by about 1/3 of a level, and at the same time, they are down by they're even on structures anyways, but they are down by 8 as far as the health of the cores. But there is a lot of fighting going on right here. We've got Liam going in, immediately going for the root, but we might still have the Unstoppable. Unstoppable is popped, and that root won't end up doing anything there. Now we have 5 people down in this lane if they want to try to go for the invade here, or we could have Zul.
Let's do big ding energy comms because we've also got a single ultra phase in the bottom lane.
Just let me come down. Everybody, all 5 on objective. Aggro, rotate, aggro, rotate. That's it, that's it, that's it, that's it. We didn't get it.
Thank you.
I cleansed too early. My bad.
My silence is down.
I didn't see. You're fine.
I don't have
Hey, Bloodlust is down for 8 seconds. Bloodlust
5 seconds. 5 seconds.
I've got next interrupt
3.
as well.
Nice, interrupt, Laura.
Bloodlust is up.
We're good.
I'm moving in now.
Okay, Dodger's pushing side lane. That's a problem for them that they have to deal with. Okay, they're dealing with it. I'm shielding Vipey.
I will try capping.
Macaroni.
We don't get him. We don't get him that deep.
We're on ETC. Bloodlust if we have it.
Yeah.
I'm on Trikslyr. Watch Mosh. Nice. Kill Trikslyr.
I'm dying for it.
I'm on Lakefu.
Me too.
Get that barrier.
Nice.
Yeah. Get it. Yeah.
Gray main.
Here's face.
Best for team. I can shut this down.
I'm capping.
Get it.
Fort. Wait till we get the fort, Alicia.
Wait, Alicia.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay.
That was really, really good calling coming out from Mochrie right there. Even just like hold the fort and then just like wait for Bloodlust. Like, and it wasn't even just Mochrie either, because I want to give credit where it's due. Like Alicia was just like, I've got Bloodlust innate, so she's just saying like, wait 8 seconds and then re-engage, and they did, and they played that so very well. They get the towers, they get the bottom lane fort, and they secure 13 talent here.
Yeah, I mean, they've got full control over this map, and it's got to feel bad for Lil Rubies right now. If they had an extra map sitting ready to go, I would say they could be like, okay, let's take some information here, let's learn from this and go on to the next game. But this is their last game. If they lose this, they are out. They have no more shots at this, so they need to find a way to come back into this. Their team fights are coming out a little awkward. It seems like they're more trying to answer what the opposing team's bringing rather than trying to just make a play. That silence arrow was down that whole fight. They could have gone for a Mosh as long as they hit Ragnaros, right? That was their biggest other interrupt on that. And there were several times he tried for it, but it just got a little awkward because that's the only thing that they have to set up these fights.
Well, for the next objective, which is going to be a double altar, we'll probably jump into Lil Rubies, but we'll get there when we get there. First things first, we got to see how they're going to deal with bottom lane, because right now, this is exactly what we were talking about earlier, holding over bottom lane. This is typically now when the solo lane does double rotations. Aullora actually did Hearth back. They're playing with fire here. I know it's Ragnaros, no pun intended, but they're literally playing with fire, just like, I'm going to Hearth back, then I'll get here, then I'll clear out the sappers. They're not even worried about their own core health. Top lane was converted over, so it will be 4-4 in these shots, but as I said, let's jump into Lil Rubies comms and see how they're going to play this next engagement.
Power sliding, moshing.
Yes.
Nice mosh.
God, I'm gonna die. But in here, it's okay.
No.
Wow.
Good stuff. That's okay. Good try.
Dang.
That'll be some damage, but we back up here. Yeah, it's okay.
A lot quicker. That fight went a lot quicker than I expected, honestly. I thought there was going to be a lot more sustain between them, but you can actually, like, they're a little, you know, on the downside when it comes to some of these engagements, but you can hear Trikslyr still trying to keep it positive, saying, you know, we're going to take a little bit of damage, that's okay. At least it's not 5, they're only taking the 4. They're going to be clearing out this bottom lane. Garrosh got the channel, so it's 8 shots going into their core. It's going to be 15-36, but Paradox, I've said it in previous games and I'll say it again. Towers of Doom is anyone's game, because I've seen games like this completely 180 and everything goes awry. Maybe this is the case over a boss, but without 16 talent here, maybe that's not the case.
Oh yeah, I mean, all it really takes is like a Mosh into an Eternal Feast. They have a Grey main, which means they have one of the best siege heroes in the game. What'll happen is a Mosh into Eternal Feast, if it's a good Mosh, then they just wipe the entire team. They take Grey main, and Grey main can take 2/4 very quickly. So it could be anyone's game at any point during this. I mean, we do have a lot of pressure trying to keep this middle one going. Zul's just gonna proxy at this point. He's like, bottom lane's the most important one, so I'm gonna grab this camp down here. Yep. You guys just distract them for a little bit, because they're not really getting anything in this middle lane other than just denying. But we still control top, and now I'm gonna control bottom, and mid's gonna be very easy to take back. So Zul's just doing the macro side right now. Yep. However, Zul's likely gonna die here.
Yeah, the rotation coming in. They're gonna Hearth. Will it be in time? Oh, the pings, the pings, the pings! Sylvanas gets the Banshees through the howling. Yeah, that's Vesper. I'm sorry there, but you do. Wait. They're gonna get tossed now.
There's no way.
There's curse strikes that can save you, but there's not that many curse strikes that can save you. So while all that happens, they position for this, and it's gonna be a triple altar phase. The benefit is, though, they do have one extra bell tower in their favor, so if they lose all 3 of these, they're only taking 9 damage, which isn't game-ending. So there is that small benefit, but we'll see what happens as a Warlord Challenge comes out. Expulsion Zone. There's going to be a toss onto Lashes, who's very far from the friendly team, trying to get away from this, using all of her abilities to do exactly that with the Shadow Waltz. Lakefu comes in with a little bit of a speed boost and some health as well. Bloodlust comes out from the Rhaegar. Trikslyr tries to power slide away. They don't have a face melt, and they didn't have the face melt range increase, and that's going to be one of the altars going over. This is a really weird spot to be in, Paradox.
Yeah, I mean, all they really have to do is they could actually hold this one in the top right, and they could take back the top if they wanted to, and then go, but and try to close out the game early. In this case, it looks like they're just going to play it a little bit safer. They're going to grab the ones they can, probably try to take back bottom, and then just grab the 4 damage. You're right, it's only 9 damage, but that does put them into kill range and loss, so this is something that you should probably try to fight. The only problem is you don't have that ETC, so you really can't fight it. There's not much you can do there. And I really am curious, like, I mean, ETC, we're all just waiting for those moshes, but it's like, just having the W talents on 4, 7, and 13, you can peel a team like this almost forever. You're on a 4-second cooldown with a huge peel, and in this case, you didn't take those talents, and Encore could actually be bad for you sometimes because you throw out a W that might actually push them towards your team if the enemies step forward after your W goes. So having the cooldown reduction allows it to be a little bit more controlled, but we see a huge engage possibly going in. He's looking for a mosh right now. He ends up going for the mosh, hitting everyone. Aullora can interrupt with his ult, stuns their entire team, taunts their entire team, while we have a sound barrier trying to keep everyone up, but unfortunately, the sound barrier only really kept them up through the extra damage from that Sulfurous Smash, and now the Bloodlust is allowing them to charge right in, taking down Lashes and also taking down Liam, and now they're just pushing right in, and this, I mean, this can be game. There is a camp available. If they wipe even one more person here, which Lakefu's getting rather low, she ends up living. You can see the meteors
I was watching that, yeah.
He's like, let me check this wall, because the Lucio's probably on this wall, not on that wall. Let me check the other wall in case Lucio's on that wall, not that wall either. It was just funny to see how she played that out, but it's interesting that Aullora has that much familiarity on the enemy Lucio to know kind of like where they might go, but at the same time, and it was very close. Yeah, I mean, if they escort these in, it's over. And remember, Garrosh can throw in one of those. So if one goes in by itself, they just win right here.
They are down in this bottom lane, ready to do exactly that. They only need one altar as well. This is kind of a check position. I wouldn't say checkmate, because there's options to defend against this. Zool going to be coming down here to try and stop that push coming in. On the top right of our map, we actually have a massive fight over this channel. Alicia's going to go for the channel. Lakefu has one of the interrupts. There's going to be a toss from Vipey. Warlord Challenge. Lucio existed and then didn't. Eternal Feast will come out from the Orpheus as well. I'm just watching minimap. Seems like that battle's going just fine as they're still poking at this. They need to deny. Oh wait, Sapper went over. Was it just one? Okay, it was just one. So one core health remains. Zool was able to stop 2 out of the 3. I believe the Sapper's tossed onto Lashes. She's trying to get out of here. Power slide from ETC won't be enough. Bloodlust comes out from the Rhaegar. Zool is trying to swipe through this will of the curse strikes. Greymane dives in, finds the kill onto the Zarya, but they end up going down themselves. Vesper still just curse striking through all of this and sustaining, but they end up going down. Trikslyr power slides in, and that'll be all 5 going down. The channel will come out from Aullora, and that is game number 4. Over to the side of Big Ding Energy. They take our best of 5 series in a 3-1 fashion. They move on to the Grand Finals and knock out Lil Rubies. GG. Well played.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was an incredible game. It really was. I think the thing that as bad as that looks, I think where this problem actually started was 3 maps ago. I know that sounds so weird, but this is a map that Big Ding Energy has been dominating on. They know their strategy, they play it well, and it's the same strategy every single time. They know how to play this map, and so they were already ready to win this map. I think the problem is that there wasn't a map to give up anymore, because they should have been banning Tracer this entire time. They won the games that they won Tracer until they hit a map that they just couldn't handle it anymore. There was a strategy that they weren't expecting, they weren't ready for, and they couldn't deal with it. So I really think that they should have been banning Tracer earlier to give them more maps so that when we got to this map, they could have given it up so that we could have gone to a game 5. But I mean, I can't say too much because at the end of the day, Big Ding Energy dominated and they played so well. And even with the Tracer ban, they were still able to take a game. And in this case, that is their 3-1 victory. So, I mean, this was really, really solid. Are we going to an interview? Is there all right.
We are going to rip Vipey right out of their lobby. Congratulations, Vipey. How are you feeling after that? Sorry, I just saw your interview portrait and I'm giggling at it. Congratulations. How are you feeling after that fourth game on Towers of Doom?
Hello. The adrenaline is going through my veins right now. It's like intense. But yeah, no, it was intense. That was so much freaking fun. I just want to shout out literally AliciaWins, Hella Cleanse Goddess. Cleanses were on point every time. Just gotta say that. It was great, honestly. Like 10 out of 10. Fucking saved everything. Sorry, cursing. But like, it was insane.
It's no, and so these series are so back and forth. The one thing I want to kind of focus on really quickly is the map loss, and I'm sure you're just like please don't talk about that. But like, what was it? Like, was it? It wasn't the fact that they banned out Tracer. Obviously, that's not the thing that hindered your composition. Was it just kind of their overall momentum in that game? Can you talk a little bit about what the team felt in that loss on that map?
Honestly, we wanted to try something a little more different. We were kind of going for like a counter engage to their engage. It just happened. It just happened that our front line was just not strong enough and not really there. We weren't comfortable with our playstyle during those fights. And they honestly did a really good job bursting us down when we were kind of all in on them, 100%.
Yeah, it seemed like anytime you were caught out, they just kind of encircled you and you had no jet propulsion out, as Paradox and I were actually talking about during the game. And it's one of those like, well, I got no E and I can't move. So that's it for me, friends.
Yeah, I mean, it was the worst part was that literally we could not get a bunker off in time. That 0.5 seconds would not let me get it off. And you know, even the Juggernaut plating for spell armor, it saved me for a couple seconds, but it wasn't enough, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, overall, you did take the series and you actually denied them a win on Towers of Doom, one of their strongest maps. So congratulations on that. Paradox, do you have any questions for Vipey?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I was going to bring up, I mean, you've been running kind of the same tanks for the majority of the series. And then game 1, you're just like, I'm going to play Diablo. And that was a brutal Diablo. I mean, there were just several moments where you got kills that your team just could not reach. Have you been practicing the Diablo, or was that something that you kind of just like snuck out? I mean, like, what was going on with that?
Well, I have to say that I am. No, actually, I literally. The funny part about that Diablo game is that I normally play Q combo Diablo, but literally right before our matches, I decided to play E combo auto attack Diablo, like a different build that allowed me. It was all we had to do was wait till late game because Sonya was such a detrimental part to our team. That I was able to, after level 16, just to take her and just flip her back and forth like a freaking windshield wiper, and she couldn't keep herself alive anymore. So that was giving us the ability to throw Johanna and Sonya around constantly, so they weren't able to do anything to our team. So just the crowd control with that build itself was enabling us to do so much. Like it was.
Yeah, I mean, you were pretty much interrupting all the spins in the late game because I was like, I don't know if they have enough damage to take out Sonya with all those spins, and it was just like, oh, all the spins were interrupted, and you just took them out, and that was really, really solid. I mean, my other questions were just again on that game on Volskaya, but I'll move past that and just go on to this last game. I mean, you guys, this is the same comp you've been running on this map for a long time. When they banned Tracer and Cassie, did you guys just go like, okay, it's on? Like, what were you guys going like? What was going through your minds? What was going through the comms right when they banned the people that they banned?
Honestly, when they banned Cassio, we were just kind of like, oh, this is freaking awesome. Like, like they're, it's a respect band in a way. It was kind of cool. But like the last game itself, they gave us our OG comp. Like it literally is like one of the comps that we really enjoy playing. We have a really good combo with Garrosh Toss and Rag Smash. It just works out really great, honestly. And everyone played really well, and it just works out for us in the long run,
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
really does. So, Baha, any questions more from you before we get into shoutouts?
No, I think straight into shoutouts. Vipey, is there anyone you'd like to shout out? The floor is all yours, my friend.
Oh my God, yes. I would love to shout out AliciaWins, fantastic healer on our team. She's doing great, honestly. Aullora is our literally our flex player. She's fantastic. She's doing great. Mochrie is an amazing shot caller. He also got partner recently. Go follow, please. And Jazzalene literally is showing her strength in bruiser lane. It's freaking awesome. Also, shout out Saga, my LGBT stream team for Pride Month. Want to go check them out? It's pretty awesome. And thank you so much for letting me talk and have a great time here.
Well, thank you so much for the interview. You enjoy your victory and get ready for your best of 7 next week. We'll throw you back in with your team. Have a great night. Once again, congrats. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. I will be on the front page playing Heroes of the Storm on the 20th from 2 to 5 PST. Playing stuff. So Heroes of the Storm
if you're on the East Coast. Just saying.
Yeah. It will literally be front page Heroes of the Storm. So that's gonna be some fun stuff.
There you go. Watch it. Awesome. You said June 20th?
June 20th, yes.
20th. Okay.
So this Saturday I'll be doing some code giveaways for Heroes too. So
that's this Saturday for anyone that doesn't want to do the calendar math. But thank you so much for the interview. Congratulations once again. Enjoy your stream on Saturday, and we'll see you next week, Vipey.
Well, thank you. Bye.
Alrighty, everybody. That is going to be wrapping things up for us this evening, as words are getting a little hard. But first things first, we want to thank all of you at home for hitting our bits and donation goals. We have surpassed actually all of them. We have 111% from the bits and 113% from the cash. So thank you so much. And here you can see the breakdown. First place will take $500 and 40% of this pool. Second place will take $400 and 30%, and that's what we're going to be seeing next week. The members of Lil Rubies, they're walking away tonight with $300 and 20% of the total prizing. So there's roughly $2,500. We haven't added in what we've raised tonight, and we have still our grand finals next Wednesday. So this prize pool could escalate quite a bit. And now we can actually see our final playoff bracket. This is going to be next Wednesday, June 24th at 6 o'clock PDT, 9 o'clock EDT, not safe for work from home, going up against Big Ding Energy. And for anyone wondering, there's no waiting. There's no +1s. This is a straight best of 7. You got to win 4 games to take that big old prize pool. And I am so excited for this. Paradox, any closing thoughts on tonight's match?
Honestly, I mean, these were some awesome matches. I can't say enough. These were amazing. I think both of these teams, if they got another shot at this, we would have seen even crazier matches. But at the end of the day, we saw teams that were very coordinated, and we saw teams. I mean, Lil Rubies threw enough at Big Ding Energy that I think they've gotten the practice that they need to take on not safe for work from home again, right? I think that they've seen, okay, this is what we need to do in this situation. Oh, Trikslyr got banned. We need to adapt this way. And I think they've really gotten everything they need. So I'm very excited for this upcoming best of 5 between Big Ding Energy and Not Safe for Work from Home. I do also want to say one more time, thank you to our sponsor, Juke.gg. I was recently, again, I watch a lot of different esports. So I was watching Rainbow Six, Magic Gathering, and a bunch of other ones all at the same time. And it's like, if you ever cover or want to watch more than one esport, or you're just one of those people that wants to have like 14 things going at once, it's a lot of fun, and it's just great because there's a lot of downtime in esports where there's like little breaks that are going on in between games on one side, and on the other side they're talking about something, and it's like it's nice to be able to have that. So make sure to check out juke.gg. It's just a really cool website. We thank them for sponsoring. Again, I mean, we're at 111% for bits, 113% for donations, so we did really well today, Baha.
We really appreciate it.
You guys are so awesome. Everyone in here, everyone in the chat, you guys are awesome.
Seriously, thank you all. But that will be wrapping things up for week number 5 of CCL. We have had 2 teams knocked out of season number 2. We've got our grand finals next Wednesday, starting at the exact same time we started tonight, 6 o'clock PDT, 9 o'clock EDT. But before we run out of here, Paradox, where can people find you? Where are you making content? What do you do?
So the majority of the place where people find me is usually YouTube. You can check out youtube.com/NotParadox, and you will see a ton of Heroes of the Storm content. The majority of it is educational content. I usually pull stuff from competitive games, so you get to see a a lot of strategies that people are using that you might not have seen before. Maybe you have, and this way you just get to see it in a new light, different way of handling it. So you can always check out my YouTube there. You can follow all my other stuff, but I got different names everywhere else. So I'd recommend just Googling NotParadox, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, wherever else you'd want to follow me. You can always check me out there. Bahamut, where can they find you though?
You can find me Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at Bahamut Gaming. I do a lot of casting for Heroes of the Storm. We play some games. I typically lose a lot. And swing on by tomorrow night. I'll be streaming. I typically am casting Monday through Thursday. I have a Sunday game day here and there. But if you're itching for more Bandit content, there's always Bandit co-casting camera, so you can swing by for that one. But either way, that will be wrapping things up for week number 5, as we said. And I'm going to just keep repeating this so I just hammer this point home. Next Wednesday, June 24th, 6 o'clock PDT, 9 o'clock EDT, a best of 7, true best of 7, no waiting. That's going to be 4 games to take it all, to take the grand prize, $500, and I believe 40% of the community prize pool. But second place doesn't walk home with just an empty pocket. They'll be vying for a little bit of cash as well. But that will wrap things up for us for week number 5. Thank you all so much for supporting. Thank you once again for being here. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the Nexus.